Chapter 32. What if I want to gain weight? How do I use it? Chen Zhao held the scroll and stood before Kelly. She stared at Chen Zhao in fear. Raz and the bloody hunter were at his side. To Kelly, Chen Zhao had become a mysterious being. It's simple. Let a drop of her blood fall on the scroll and then burn the scroll to ashes. Then she'll never be able to hurt you again. What if she goes against the contract? She'll be devoured by the demon insect from hell. Kelly didn't understand what this green-skinned creature was saying to Chen Zhao, but she knew it couldn't be good. Just then, the bloody hunter suddenly clawed Kelly's back. Kelly couldn't even fight back. Her back was already bleeding profusely. After Chen Zhao wetted the scroll with blood, he ignited it with a lighter. When the scroll burned to ashes, Chen Zhao bent down and smiled at Kelly. You might not understand what just happened. Put simply, I put a curse on you. If you try killing me again, I'll make you die even more tragically. If the two beasts beside him didn't exist, Kelly would think this supernatural stuff was a joke. However, she didn't find it funny at all right now. Chen Zhao looked serious. His actions earlier were very strange too. You two can go back to hell. Kelly watched the two beasts bow their heads to Chen Zhao, and then their bodies disappeared gradually. You're Satan. The devil. Think whatever you want. Just remember not to piss me off anymore. Oh, Chin, how come you're up so early? Did you go for a morning jog again? Yeah, the air is always so fresh in the morning. Someone tried to kill you 3 hours ago and you still went out for a run. Perhaps the killer thinks they killed me already. There aren't any killers that stupid in the world. Trust me, it's best if you find a place to hide now. At least, don't expose yourself in broad daylight. I can't do that. I have a client today, that old white guy. That's $100,000 of income. All right. I'm jealous. But before that, you have to treat another client. He lives in Beverly Hills too. How much money? $1,000. Okay. Give me the address. Chen Zhao couldn't be picky now. He couldn't give up on a $1,000 job just because he had a $100,000 job. The most important thing now was to accumulate connections and clients. His income seemed nice now, but it still wasn't stable. After all, most of them were one-time clients. Only Rasva counted as a long-term client. He was special too. Only he relied on demonic crystals. He'd been about to die and could only live by using demonic crystals. It won't be some female killer again, right? It seems like I keep running into this stuff these days. Up to now, Chen Zhao had met 3 very beautiful women who all turned out to be killers. This annoyed Chen Zhao. He just wanted to meet a pretty girl who wanted to sleep with him. That wasn't a difficult requirement. Why couldn't it come true? After washing up, Chen Zhao took his equipment and left. He arrived at Beverly Hills and went to the client's house. The house and position was clearly incomparable to Rasva's super fancy mansion. However, every manor in Beverly Hills had its unique points. This was a smaller house, but the monthly rent would be at least $20,000. This was a conservative estimate too. It didn't have a huge garden, but the environment was still what people dreamed of having. Chen Zhao pressed the doorbell. There was a speaker above the doorbell. Who are you? It was a woman. She sounded quite young too. Chen Zhao looked up at the security camera before the metal gate. I'm the doctor. Ethan told me to come. Click. The door unlocked automatically. You can come in, the speaker said. Chen Zhao entered the manor. There were a few hundred square meters of greenery in the manor. There was also a pool before the house. The house itself was of a modern style. The woman was lying on a recliner before the pool, clad in a bikini. Her copper skin was very sexy, but her figure was a bit thin. There was a walkie-talkie beside her. Sit anywhere. I'm Chen Zhao. You can call me Chen. What can I call you? Chen Zhao asked. Yaftin Levana. If you pay attention to showbiz, you should know me. Why did you bring a dog? This is my working habit. I like to bring it around. Saves me time from walking it. Miss Yafin, how may I help you today? Yafin moved on from that question. I need to gain weight. I accepted the audition for the female lead of a big production, but my body is quite different from the character. She's like a superwoman and needs muscles, but you can see it too. I'm too thin now. Chun Zhao looked at her body. Her figure looked very unnatural. She was pretty, but the sickly thinness made her look like a toothpick person with a big head. You took diet pills, right? Yes. This explained it. There were 2 types of diet pills now. The first was legal. They were tested products and relatively safe. However, it took a while for them to become effective and weren't that effective either. Of course, they had lighter side effects too. The other type was stronger but had much bigger side effects. They were illegal. They either couldn't be sold or weren't even licensed to be produced. However, there was a market, and if people wanted it, others would produce it. You could take the overconsumption of Xenical, for example. Xenical was used to decrease the absorption of fat, mostly used for those who regularly had high-fat diets. The usage of Xenical had always been debated, because if overconsumed, it could cause physiological disorders. The user might even be completely unable to absorb fat. Another example was that many diet pills added large amounts of laxatives. The effect for this type was very obvious, but the consequences were serious too. Some girls would get eating disorders after using illegal diet pills. Some might even destroy their stomachs and be forced to live off glucose drips. They would need 1 or 2 years of treatment to gradually recover. Yafan was the type who used diet pills regularly. Some symptoms had already appeared in her. Chun Zhao could diagnose some of them with his naked eye. Of course, judging by her pallor, she already had a slight eating disorder. This wasn't good. If she was dependent upon diet pills, then there was an even worse consequence awaiting her. So, do you have a solution? Chun Zhao chuckled. Beelzebub was finally truly useful today. Of course. I will make you have an appetite today. What should I do? Turn around. I need to prick you with some needles. I mean acupuncture. Okay. I do acupuncture often too. I like it. Women on diets were crazy. They would try anything to lose a pound. In reality, acupuncture could help with losing weight too, but it wasn't that effective. It mainly decreased the digestive abilities of the stomach. If something needed an hour to digest, it would take longer after acupuncture. That way, the person wouldn't feel hunger. However, it wasn't that useful to overweight women because most of them didn't eat because of hunger. Instead, they made eating a habit. Like how some people smoked, it was a problem of habit. These people would feel unsettled and emotionally unstable if they didn't have food. Chapter 33. Chun Zhao is a trickster. Very soon, Chun Zhao performed acupuncture on Yafan, completing freeing her digestive function. Then the main contributor Beelzebub gave Yafan the desire for food. Acupuncture was not all-powerful. It could not give someone an appetite. However, Chun Zhao would never reject other methods, for example the power of demons. I feel somewhat hungry. Are you willing to eat something with me? Haha, I have been controlling my shape recently. Chun Zhao euphemistically rejected Yafan's suggestion. You have a great shape. Yafan reached out and touched Chun Zhao's chest muscle. I have already activated your taste buds using my treatment, but if you don't want to become fat, you better do an appropriate amount of exercise. At least 1 hour of aerobic exercise every day and half an hour of anaerobic exercise. You should eat food high in starch and protein. It can allow you to gain weight in the shortest time possible. Yafan needed to gain weight and achieve the shape of a bodybuilder, not to become fat. Chun Zhao believed that a lady who was so concerned about her beauty would know how to control her shape. Yafan's fingers slowly slid downwards. Then do an hour of aerobic exercise with me. Chun Zhao lowered his head and gently held Yafan's chin. His body also bent over. After an hour and a half, the two finished their battle. Chun Zhao put on his clothes properly. Are you sure you don't want to eat something with me? No. I still have another customer. Thank you for your patronage. $1,000 please. Fine. You're the first man to fuck me and take my money. You're also the first woman to accept my treatment and be fucked by me. Fuck. Hope that you can get that role. Thank you. Give me your number please. Chun Zhao picked up his toolbox and left with Beelzebub. Beelzebub, didn't you say that when I summon you with your demonic ritual implement, you would be stronger? My power is not reflected by my body. Now I have 1/3 of the power of my true form. If we meet that female killer again, can you finish her? Nope, but I can make her so hungry that she will eat the soil beneath her directly. Beelzebub, even if you were summoned by your demonic ritual implement this time, you're still no match for me. You are just a fool. You better be careful. Otherwise, I will bury you in the waste soil behind the motel, Beelzebub threatened. Chen Zhao never once interfered with their argument. After leaving Yafin's manor, Chen Zhao headed for Rasfa's place directly. Rasfa, I'm outside your manor now. Are you available for treatment? Yes, of course. I'll send Paul there to welcome you. Soon, Paul appeared and brought Chen Zhao into the manor. This time, Rasfa was much more respectful towards Chen Zhao. He did not say anything rude. Hi Chen, you're finally here. Rasfa hugged Chen Zhao to welcome him. Do you want to drink anything? Perhaps red wine or whiskey? No. I don't want my mind to be affected during treatment. Let's start the session first. No problem. Rasfa also did not want to waste any time. That was because he clearly felt that his condition was worsening that day. Since the morning he had been feeling uneasy. There had been a few times when he wanted to call Chen Zhao. He felt that he was going to die. This was common human nature. The closer one was to death, the more one would fear death. What do I need to do? Drink this first. Then I'll perform acupuncture. All right. The amount of demonic crystals used this time was significantly higher than the previous time. As Chen Zhao was treating Rasfa, Rasfa could clearly feel his vigor returning. Just then, a red-haired woman came into the room. Chen Zhao could recognize this woman whose name he recalled to be Rydra. Mr. Rasfa, what are you doing? Rydra was somewhat angry. Rasfa was lying on the sofa at the moment. He raised his head gently. Because his back was full of needles, he could not turn around directly. Rydra, I am being treated. Can't you tell? Rasfa had always disliked Rydra. In the past, he did not do anything to her so that she could send fake messages. At the same time, Rydra's medical skill was fantastic. However, he had already found a substitute at the moment, namely Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao could at least save him, while Rydra could only watch him lose his life gradually. Therefore, Rasfa would rather accept Chen Zhao's treatment than Rydra's suggestions. Treatment? Using this stupid acupuncture? Mr. Rasfa, please clear your mind. Acupuncture can't save you. Rydra apologized to Chen. I refuse. I wouldn't apologize to a trickster. Asian, you're a trickster. You're not a doctor. I have already done my investigation. This guy doesn't even have a medical license. Rasfa, you've been deceived. He doesn't have the ability to save you. Chen Zhao was oblivious to Rydra's aggressive words. He petted Rasfa's shoulder and muttered to him, Rasfa? Rasfa lowered his head and looked at his crotch. He could feel something. He could really feel something. The long-lost feeling was back again. That was a feeling almost forgotten by him. Rasfa's face flushed. Apart from the feeling down there, Rasfa no longer felt stuffy. He felt his body fill with energy. Chun, thank you. Mr. Rasfa, did he give you some medicine? You should know that your heart problem is extremely severe. You can't eat that kind of medicine as it'll kill you. If you listen to my suggestions, I can allow you to live longer. A trickster's words will only kill you sooner. So how long do you think I can live? Rydra was speechless. During the examination 3 days ago, both she and the doctor in the hospital asserted that Rasfa would not survive that night, but he did. During the second examination, she concluded again that Rasfa would live for no more than a week. She was confident about her judgment, which she had obtained from a professional viewpoint. It did not involve any emotions or benefits. She believed that if Rasfa could listen to her instructions and advice, he might be able to live longer. But now Rasfa disliked her even more. He would rather listen to a trickster than her professional opinion. Rydra, I'm tired. Paul, send Rydra out. Oh yeah, ask Anna to go to my room, it needs some cleaning. Chun, do you need a room to rest? No. I need some food. All right. Paul, get Chun some food. During my rest, Please take good care of Chun for me. Yes, sir. Trickster, you trickster. I'll call the police. You're practicing medicine illegally. If you confess to Mr. Rasva now, I can consider letting you off. Ms. Rydra, Chun is only Mr. Rasva's guest. I think nobody here will testify your words, Paul said emotionlessly. Chapter 34 Druidchen. Rydra was asked to leave in anger. Of course, Paul was still respectful to her. After all, Rydra had been Rasva's private doctor and health consultant for 5 years. Her contributions couldn't be overlooked. However, she also knew that she could only talk. After all, Rasva or other victims of Chun Zhao had to be willing to be a witness to sue him. It would be difficult or even impossible to find anyone as a witness. These people all went to Chun Zhao because of reasons they couldn't publicize. Why would they help be a witness for her? She could only wait for Rasva's health to deteriorate again. She believed that it would dawn on Rasva then. Chun Zhao ate happily in the restaurant. All the food in Rasva's manor was of top quality. They weren't bought from supermarkets. They were supplied by special sources. Caviar from the Caspian Sea, French foie gras beef. All of them were fine products. The manor also had a top chef, so every bite was top enjoyment. Chun Zhao also had Paul serving him and pouring wine for him. Mr. Chun, will you take a walk on the beach? Sure. When he arrived at the beach, he saw a group of teenagers fooling around. There were also couples and some people kissing under parasols. Wasn't this beach private property? How did these youngsters get in? That's Mr. Rasva's grandson and his friends, Paul said. Just then, a Doberman rushed over at Chun Zhao. No, more accurately, it was running toward the Shar-Pei Beelzebub at Chun Zhao's feet. Fuck, that's Wolf. Paul was about to chase the Doberman away, but it was too late. Beelzebub had already charged. This clearly wasn't a friendly meeting because they repelled each other. Dobermans were large dogs and very menacing. In the past, they were mostly used as hunting dogs. Now, people didn't really hunt anymore, but the aggressive and aloof genes of a Doberman hadn't changed. In recent times, they were mostly used as fighting dogs and faced off similar dogs in the cruel and bloody ring. They had a clear understanding of their companions and strangers. It was very difficult for them to become friends with unfamiliar dogs. They weren't friendly with everyone like huskies. If another male dog appeared in their territory, the dog would become their target. A Shar-Pei's combat ability was only half of a Doberman's. Shar-Peis were only 1/3 of a Doberman's weight and half of their height. After all, one was a mid-sized dog while the other was large-sized. It wasn't hard for Paul to imagine what would happen. The youngsters also realized then that their Doberman and Chun Zhao's Shar-Pei seemed to have some conflict. The two dogs barked madly at each other. Instead of stopping the Doberman, the teens started yelling excitedly. Wolf, tear that guy up. Come on, hurry up. I bet $100 that the little guy will get ripped up in a minute. I bet $100 it'll only take 30 seconds. Wolf is a warrior from the rings. I'm guessing 10 seconds. Chun Zhao called out. I don't like gambling, but I like winning. In 10 seconds, my Beelzebub will defeat that idiot. Hey Asian, how much are you betting? I'll also bet $100. Are you sure you want to throw away 100? It's just a Shar-Pei. Beelzebub, don't kill him. Oh, Beelzebub was furious. How could a human's toy dare to provoke him? This was an utter insult. Wolf instantly felt danger. It wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Beelzebub had already tackled Wolf, biting Wolf's neck at the same time. If he applied a bit more pressure, Wolf would die. Wolf couldn't move anymore. It had been domesticated, but as a beast, it was still sensitive to danger. It could sense that Beelzebub's danger was completely different from any other dog. What? How is this possible? When did Wolf become so weak? Paul, please bring my medical kit over. Yes, Mr. Chin. Shortly, Paul brought Chun Zhao's kit over. Chun Zhao walked to Beelzebub and Wolf. He kicked Beelzebub aside and patched up Wolf's injury. Wolf wouldn't attack humans. This was the result of domestication. It had already lost most of its wildness. Plus, it could sense Chun Zhao's friendliness. Chun Zhao patted Wolf. Go back to your master. Just then Rasva's grandson walked out. Wolf returned to him and wagged its tail, but it seemed to be sad. Oh, I'm Daniel. What's your name? Chun. Chun. Just call me Chun. Let's hang out. Your Sharpei is powerful. Will you sell it? Sorry, I'm afraid he won't accept a second master. All right, tell me how you train it. Or are all Sharpeis so powerful? Only he's a bit more powerful. I didn't purposely train him. Maybe it's because he was on the streets and fought with the other strays before I found him. I see. So are strays more powerful? Seems like I should go adopt one. Ah, snake. Hiss hiss. Since Chun Zhao was talking to Daniel, a girl went to open Chun Zhao's medical kit and saw a snake curled up inside. That's Raymond, my other snake. Raymond climbed out of the kit. Seeing how Chun Zhao didn't seem to mind, Daniel asked, Are you sure it won't get lost? Reptiles aren't as smart as dogs. Raymond had been slithering around, but it suddenly turned around and darted toward Daniel. Oh, it's coming. You better run. You angered it. What? Snakes can't understand us talking. No, they can't even hear. It's impossible. Seeing Raymond rushing over, Daniel immediately ran away. Raymond chased after him without stop. Damn it, guys, help me. Save me. That snake's attacking me. Paul stood beside Chun Zhao. Mr. Chun, are you sure it's okay? Don't worry. My Raymond is very obedient. It won't bite anyone without my command. Paul knew that Chun Zhao brought his two pets wherever he went. He'd even released them when he went to Rasva's hospital room. Chun, save me. Hurry and save me. Chapter 35. Doesn't mean I'm going to be your stepfather. You need to apologize to him. This is so dumb, I'm not going to. Okay, fine. I'm sorry, I was wrong, Mr. Raymond, I was wrong. Indeed, Raymond stopped the chase. Daniel and his friends were all stunned. Oh my God. God, did you see that? Did you see that? This snake actually understands it. This can't be real. Raymond, you idiot. A friend of Daniel did not believe it. Then, Raymond turned around and headed towards him directly. Oh no. He understands me. He's coming for me. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Raymond let that person off. At this moment, the entire group of young people was totally bewildered. Chun, tell me how you've managed to train Beelzebub till he's so strong, and a snake till he's so clever. Are you a wizard? No, you're a druid. Yes, only this can explain everything. You might need to ask their previous owners. In fact, I've adopted both Raymond and Beelzebub. I don't believe it. Which fool would throw them away? This is the reality. Can I touch Raymond? Raymond, do you mind? Chun Zhao looked at Raymond, who was in the distance. Raymond slowly crawled forward and stopped before Daniel. Daniel was still somewhat scared of Raymond, but he still extended his hand out. Then Raymond climbed up Daniel's hand. God, he's really too smart. Chun, sell him to me, please. Snakes are my favorite, especially Raymond. Ask him yourself if he's willing. Raymond, are you willing to live with me? Raymond raised his head, after which he shook his head. God. I like him more and more. Of course, although Daniel admired Raymond, he was not planning to get Raymond by force. After all, he had been through elite education. Perhaps he was just somewhat indulgent, which was a common characteristic of the teenagers in this country. However, having been through elite education, he would not allow himself to establish enemies easily, even an ordinary-looking Asian. Those wealthy kids who want to kill all their enemies after a small dispute would only appear in novels, not the real world. Daniel was clearly more interested in the two pets than Chun Zhao. Actually, everyone present was more interested in Raymond and Beelzebub than Chun Zhao, including Paul. Daniel, don't you have lesson today? Just then Zola walked over. Zola was Daniel's mother. At the moment, Zola was wearing a white business wear. Unlike the last time, today her hair had been permed. Chun, you're here as well. Nice, I have been experiencing chest tightness recently. Can you help me to take a look? No problem. Chun, can you leave Raymond and Beelzebub here temporarily? Sure. Chun Zhao left with Zola. The two of them entered a random bedroom, after which they started making out. Actually, Chun Zhao was indeed examining Zola's body. Women that were about 40 years old had the greatest desire. At the same time, they were also the most experienced ones. "How's my father? We've already completed today's session. Why didn't I see him at his place? He's in the bedroom. I don't think he has the habit of sleeping in the day. In fact, he doesn't spend much time sleeping at all. With a maid. All right. Let's do it one more time, okay?" "Of course, as you wish." Zola was a very attractive woman. Even though she was no longer young, she knew how to display her feminine charm. Of course, Chun Zhao was not planning to become Daniel's stepfather, and Zola was also not planning to let Chun Zhao become her fourth husband. They were only taking what each of them needed. All of a sudden, the door was pushed open. They saw a girl standing outside. Then they heard a loud scream. This was the first time Chun Zhao had come into contact with a shy female after he arrived in Los Angeles. Fine, perhaps it was because she looked only about 16 or maybe even younger. After all, European and American girls experience puberty earlier than Asian girls. "Darling, why did you come in without knocking?" At the moment, Chun Zhao and Zola were still in an awkward position. Zola's legs were on top of Chun Zhao's shoulders. "I heard that you were here. The maid told me that you're in this room." The girl lowered her head, not daring to look at Chun Zhao and Zola. "Is he your new boyfriend?" "No," Zola answered frankly. "Can you give us 10 minutes? The girl could only close the door again and then leave. "Seems like we need to find a place that's more hidden next time." The two of them sped the process up. Instead of continuing to explore various postures, they only aimed for speed. Zola was even more familiar with this. 10 minutes later, the two walked out of the room together. Zola went to find her daughter. Chun Zhao did not want to appear before them, so he found an excuse to leave. "Oh, Manny, I'm so sorry. I have displayed my ugliest side in front of you. Mom, it's my fault. I shouldn't have gone in without knocking. So let us forgive each other." "Mom, who's that man? He seems to be much younger than you." "He's Chun, your grandfather's doctor." Zola was clearly not planning to continue this topic. "Did you come with Daniel?" "No, I came here alone. He has his own circle." "I heard that you went to a movie company for audition last week. Is that right?" "Yes. If you want to remain in this profession, I can recommend you to every director." After all, Rasfa was the chairman and major shareholder of PLM, one of the 6 major film studios in Hollywood. These 6 studios were both competitors and allies of each other. Zola also worked in the movie industry, so she knew countless famous directors and actors. Although she could not make Manny the female protagonist directly, she was clearly confident that Manny would at least take up a role with dialogue. In Hollywood, female protagonists were almost always appointed by the movie company. They were very seldom decided via audition. Characters with dialogues would mostly be allocated by agencies. If Manny went for an audition directly, the likelihood of her succeeding was effectively zero. Under the same conditions, director groups would only choose actresses under various agencies and partners, or those who could bring them benefits, and not Manny. Apart from being young and beautiful, Manny had almost no advantages. Hollywood had never been short of young and beautiful actresses. Actually, Manny's young age might even become her disadvantage. That was because in Hollywood there was a rule: movie companies would not use non-adults unless they had to. Minors, animals, and the like must all be used carefully. A character who was about 15 or 16 could well be acted by a 20-year-old actress after dressing up appropriately. Chapter 36. Another old guy with kidney problems. When Chun Zhao reached the lounge, he saw Rasfa sitting there and chatting with another old white-haired man. Chun Zhao wasn't quite familiar with Hollywood stars, but this old man was a famous director. His name had spread to the other side of the world. Rasfa's cheeks were ruddy. He felt like he'd recovered his youthful vigor. Every one of his cells was alive. "Chun, come here. Let me introduce you." Chun Zhao had already walked over. "Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Chun." "Hello." The director respectfully shook Chun Zhao's hands. Not everyone was racist. He's my current health consultant, Chun. Steven, maybe you can have Chun check your body. I'm talking about that problem. Steven was a bit hesitant. This kind of problem was difficult to talk about. Even though the West was less conservative, this condition affected his dignity as a man. He didn't dare to ask a doctor. Actually, he tried some medication that private doctors had suggested, but none of them were effective. Only some people knew about this, such as Rasfa, one of his fellow patients. When he came today, he saw Rasfa doing crazy things with his maid in his room. He could even hear the maid's wild noise when standing outside. It sounded like an intense battle. This made Steven wonder if Rasfa had been lying to him all this time. We agreed to be fellow patients, but you're playing with girls secretly? You said you can't anymore, but you're obviously super strong, alright? What made Steven more jealous was the fact that Rasfa was a decade older than him, but he could still be so strong. Chun, do you know what my illness is? It's not hard. Judging from your age, your body has started failing in all aspects. You have obvious age spots too. This means that there's something wrong with your kidney and detoxification system. You're probably worried about your sex abilities, right? Is it that obvious? If it's only what I see, then I can't confirm it. I have to first check your body. It's actually not such an embarrassing condition. You're not young anymore and some things can't be avoided. Of course, if I treat you, I'm confident in helping you recover your abilities. Are you an expert in this? No. In the medical field, professional knowledge in one area can't be compared to an all-around doctor. The body is very strange and many physiological diseases result from secondary diseases. You have to treat it from the root instead of treating wherever the problem is. Okay, so how will you cure me? I'll use acupuncture to help you detoxify and reinvigorate your kidney. Then it'll be able to give your lower body enough strength. How long will it take? Effects show quickly. You can ask Rasfa about this. However, your kidney has withered for too long. You'll need prolonged treatment. Steven, I was like you before noon today. But after lunch I'm bursting with energy. You should take Chin's suggestion. Trust me, it's beneficial for you. Then now, Steven was clearly tempted. He'd been dormant for too long. Steven, you're Rasfa's friend. But I still have to tell you that I'm an unlicensed doctor. Of course. I understand. Also, my price isn't low. Chun, I'll pay for Steven. I won't disappoint you. Rasfa was a businessman. He was obviously willing to get two important people's favors with the lowest cost. Both Chun Zhao and Steven were people he needed to rope in. How about we move somewhere else? I also need to get my medical kit. Sure. Steven, come sit in my library. Chun Zhao brought his kit, Beelzebub, and Raymond to the library a while later. Steven was lying on the sofa with his shirt off already. Because of his kidney, he looked a bit frail. Should I leave you two alone? No need. Steven's situation is better than you. It's not that complicated. We might be able to get coffee together after 10 minutes. Of course, Steven might need to take care of some personal problems too. 10 minutes later, Chun Zhao had used acupuncture to stimulate Steven's kidney. This helped him successfully expel the extra toxins in his body. At the same time, Raymond used his abilities. When Steven got up from the sofa, his pants were already tented. Oh. Haha. Steven, it seems like you really need to take care of a personal problem. Should I go get two beauties? Rasfa had a supply of beauties in his house. There were even some nameless actresses who worked as maids for him to get an opportunity. This was commonly seen in Hollywood too. Even some well-known actresses now had unspeakable pasts before they became famous. No celebrity who made a name for themselves in the entertainment industry was innocent. Face red, Steven graciously accepted this suggestion. Rasfa's library was very big and also had a balcony facing the beach. He and Chun Zhao sat there, drinking coffee while waiting for Steven to finish. Chun, are you sure you don't want some girls? I don't for now. Didn't you say there will be many beauties at tonight's party? Yes, but it'll depend on your own abilities then. Of course. Chun, are you interested in opening a clinic in Beverly Hills? With your abilities and my connections, I'm sure your business will prosper. That's not necessary. I'm quite satisfied with my current job. If I open a clinic, my schedule won't be as free as now. Plus, I don't like to get chased around by the IRS. The most important reason was actually because Chun Zhao didn't have enough money now. How much would it cost to open a clinic in Beverly Hills? You'd need at least $1 million. If your clinic is too small, most residents of Beverly Hills wouldn't even spare it a glance. There were also large risks. If his income couldn't balance out his expenses, he'd be at risk of huge losses. He couldn't even think about making money then. Most clinics would face these problems in the beginning, especially somewhere like Beverly Hills. Most residents here had their own personal doctors. They wouldn't trust a doctor in an unfamiliar clinic so easily. Even if Rasfa could recommend people, it wasn't like he could force people to go to his clinic at gunpoint. Chapter 37. Chapter 37. 1 hour later, Stephen came back. Chun, thank you. Stephen hugged Chun Zhao in excitement. Stephen, have you taken a shower? Chun Zhao pushed Stephen away in disgust. Air. Haha. Let's have a drink first before that. In case you need long-term treatment, here's my name card. Call me in the future. Suddenly, they heard a scream from the beach. I think something happened down there. Daniel's in the sea. He's in trouble. A group of young people was on the beach shouting at the sea. 2 strong young men grabbed 2 buoys and charged into the sea. I'll go down and take a look. Chun Zhao quickly ran down the stairs and towards the beach. Just then Chun Zhao saw Daniel being dragged onto the shore by his friends, but his leg was covered in blood. He had been attacked by a shark. Luckily, the shark only bit him once before losing interest. Daniel had already lost his consciousness. Suddenly, Chun Zhao saw Blackie appear beside him. Blackie, why do I see you all the time? I was nearby by chance. You sure you didn't follow me here? Fine. I feel that I can always find prey by following you, so I'm here. Sorry. Since I saw him, you might lose the prey. As long as you compensate for that. To Blackie, it was purely additional income, so he was not very concerned about Daniel's death. He'll die in 20 minutes due to excessive bleeding. You better save him quick. His blood pressure and heart rate are dropping rapidly. Chun Zhao immediately charged towards Daniel. Go away. Stop gathering around here. He needs fresh air. Chun, save him. Save Daniel. He's still young. Zola had also arrived at the scene. As a mother, Zola cared and loved all of her children deeply. At the moment, she had already lost her usual calmness and pride. She was nothing more than a mother who was about to collapse. What's your and Daniel's blood types? I'm O Hiza. Chun Zhao hurriedly handled Daniel's wound. At the same time, he took out his blood transfusion tool so that Zola could transfuse her blood to Daniel. However, Daniel's blood pressure was constantly low. His soul seemed to be leaving his body already. Go back. Chun Zhao swung his hand in the air. Everyone stared at Chun Zhao in perplexity. However, Daniel opened his eyes right away. Mom. Daniel was extremely weak. My leg. My leg. Daniel, you're fine. Chun Zhao glanced at Daniel's leg. He was unsure if Daniel could keep his leg. Daniel's wound was too severe. Chun looked at Zola. Have you called the ambulance? Yes. Beverly Hills had the most comprehensive facilities and the best resources, including a hospital. Therefore, a few paramedics soon arrived. When they saw the scene, they were also shocked. Who did the first aid? Chun Zhao saw the lady named For who had caught him in the hospital last time. He had no idea that she was part of the emergency team. It's me, Chun Zhao admitted. It's very professional. Are you also a doctor? I was a doctor before I came here, Chun Zhao answered. He would clearly not tell a legal doctor that he was illegal. It was a common saying that 2 of a trade can never agree. Legal doctors would be happy to report him. Can you tell me what happened in detail? He was bitten by a shark. I realized that he was very severely wounded and lost too much blood. Fortunately, his mother was here. After confirming their blood types, I performed blood transfusion. How did you stop the bleeding? Looking at the extent of the wound, gauze alone isn't enough. Acupuncture. You should quickly send him to the hospital now. He's still in danger. If we waste any more time, even if he doesn't die, he won't be able to keep his leg. Four glanced at Chun Zhao. Then they entered the ambulance and left. Chun, what should I do? Will Daniel die? No, I promise you. Can you accompany me to the hospital? No problem. Because of the sudden accident, Chun Zhao could not go to Rasva's party. He boarded Zola's car with Raymond and Beelzebub. Fortunately, humans were not on a shark's cookbook. From the wound, Chun Zhao could tell that Daniel was bitten by an adult tiger shark. What did that mean? An adult tiger shark could grow up to 6 meters. With its bite force, if the tiger shark bit Daniel's upper body instead, he would have become 2 pieces by now. Even a god would not be able to save him. In fact, in the small number of fatal shark attacks every year, most victims die from the bite and are not actually eaten. Sharks do not like the taste of humans. They are only confirming if the thing they see is food and if it is delicious. Therefore, under normal circumstances, a shark will only bite the victim once before deciding that it tastes horrible. After reaching the hospital, Daniel was sent into the emergency room directly. Chun Zhao was accompanying Zola, who had already lost all rationality. She had been crying all the time. Zola, trust me, Daniel will be fine. Relax, just relax. Chun, if Daniel is in danger, will you save him? Just like how you saved my father. Yes, trust me. I promise. Out of trust for Chun Zhao, Zola calmed down slightly. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, 3 consecutive gunshots were heard at the end of the aisle outside the operating room. A police fell out from a room there. Then, a tall man in patient suit walked out from the room step by step while holding a nurse under duress. Phil. Chun Zhao could recognize this man. An atrocious criminal. Walk with your own legs, you bitch. Phil shouted loudly as he pulled the nurse's hair. The nurse was already so frightened that she could hardly walk. Great fear had rendered her immobile. Suddenly, the nurse gained courage out of somewhere and bit onto Phil's arm. Phil flung the nurse out and then shot her. Phil walked along the aisle swaggeringly. A care worker suddenly charged out from the side. However, the next moment another gunshot was heard. The care worker collapsed onto the ground. Phil looked at Chun Zhao and Zola before him, after which he lifted his gun. I remember you. Phil stared firmly at Chun Zhao. Last time the policewoman who's with you caught me. I remember you. Blackie was right beside Chun Zhao. Seems like you're in trouble. Do you feel my death? No. Not everyone's death can be felt by me, but I have already seen his death. 10 minutes later, he'll be shot by the police who haven't arrived yet. Then I will make his death come earlier. Chapter 38. Beelzebub killed someone. Beelzebub had already appeared behind Phil. Chun Zhao's expression was cold. This was his first time facing a cruel criminal like this. The criminal had brutally murdered 3 innocent people in the blink of an eye. Compared to Chun Zhao, who was a doctor, he was the complete opposite type of person. As a doctor, Chun Zhao had always been trying his hardest to save his patients. But now he felt like not everyone deserved to be saved. Not everyone deserved his full efforts. Kill him. Zula stared at Chun Zhao in confusion. Kill whom? Beelzebub had already pounced on Phil's back. A pained cry sounded. Chun Zhao hurriedly tackled Zula onto the ground. In immense pain, Phil was firing randomly. Beelzebub was a true demon. Once he received the command that unleashed his instincts, he would show his most violent side. He tore off a chunk of flesh and then bit down on Phil's neck. Crack. Phil died. This was a cruel and fatal move. Phil's evil life had come to an end, but his pain had just started. A grim reaper was watching predatorily from the side. Blackie, I hope he goes through more torture. I'll be glad to help. Chun Zhao didn't have time to chat with Blackie. He quickly moved up to check on the wounded, or rather the dead. The nurse seemed to still be alive. However, she'd been shot in the chest and the bullet might have hit her artery, so her bleeding wouldn't stop. Even if she was given emergency treatment, she might not be saved. Chun Zhao had no choice but to use a demonic crystal. Next was the nurse's aide. He was also heavily wounded and Chun Zhao fed him a demonic crystal too. Then there was the policeman. His soul was already standing there. It seemed that he'd died. Thinking for a bit, Chen Zhao still tried feeding him a demonic crystal. Go back to your body. You shouldn't die yet. He wasn't sure if this would work. Demonic crystals could save people, but it couldn't bring people back to life. When Chen Zhao entered the patient's room, he saw two other victims, a policeman and a doctor. They'd both been shot, but they surprisingly hadn't died yet. Chen Zhao used demonic crystals again. As long as it was within his abilities and they weren't cruel people like the criminal, Chen Zhao didn't mind doing everything to save someone. When Chen Zhao walked out of the room, a gun was suddenly pointed at him. Don't move. Raise your hands. Sir, he's not the criminal. For had come to explain. The criminal's on the ground. I think his dog killed him. We must treat the wounded now. Please don't get in the way. The group of police officers looked at Phil, lying in a puddle of blood. Beside him was Beelzebub with a bloody mouth. That's his dog? That bastard, he was killed by that tiny dog? Yes. Sir, can you explain this? My dog is kind of aggressive. When he saw that man pointing a gun to my head, my dog attacked him from behind. Kind of aggressive? The officers were all confused. They'd seen many aggressive dogs, but they'd all been large dogs. Beelzebub was just a small Shar-Pei. How aggressive could Shar-Peis be? And to the point of killing someone. Chun, no need to say all that to them. If needed, I'll have my lawyer talk for you. Beelzebub is a hero. He saved us and the entire hospital. The officers didn't want to make it hard for Chen Zhao either. They just found it incredible that this Shar-Pei that couldn't even reach their knees had actually killed that evil criminal. Sir, the hospital is understaffed. Can you help us treat the victims? I don't have a license. I'm afraid these officers will just toss me into jail. The officer that had pointed a gun at Chen Zhao felt awkward. I'm sorry, sir. It was my fault earlier. Let me apologize. Can you give me some clothes? If he participated in the emergency treatment, he needed a disinfected doctor's coat. Chen Zhao's clothes obviously weren't suitable for the surgery room. Some nurses quickly brought a coat over. Zula. Go Chen. Go save everyone who deserves it. May God be with you. Chen Zhao was responsible for saving the officer whose soul had already come out. Finished quickly. As someone who was shot, the officer's wounds were very grave, but the surgery was simple. He was just still in danger. Chen Zhao wasn't needed for the other victims. There were other doctors who were performing emergency treatment. When Chen Zhao walked out of the surgery room, he received good news. The other victims were all saved. Chen, how many times have we met because of work? Melson walked over to Chen Zhao. He and the previous officers were from the same station but different departments. Chen Zhao felt helpless. You won't do anything to my dog, right? No way. It's a hero, and a hero should be treated like one. Just then, a middle-aged man walked over. His hair was combed carefully and he looked like someone important. You're Chen. Yes, and you. I'm the deputy chief of LA's sub-bureau. You can call me Grant. Mr. Grant, how can I help you? No, you and your dog saved two of my men. I'm coming to tell you that you won't run into any trouble on these streets. Grant had clearly learned of Chen Zhao's job from Melson, and he'd come to express his stance. Thanks. The hospital shooting caused a huge commotion. The hospital was surrounded by the media, but the police had sealed it off with security lines. This was also a mistake on the police's side. After all, Phil was a captured criminal, but because of the police's mishap, he got a gun and caused this shooting. Thankfully, no one had died, so the police could push the scandal as low as possible. What Grant had just told Chen Zhao was also to ensure that Chen Zhao wouldn't blab about this scandal. Unfortunately, Daniel's legs couldn't be saved. His muscles had been damaged too heavily and could barely be preserved. Chen Zhao was helpless too. He wasn't all-powerful. He couldn't regrow the leg that had been sliced off biologically. Zula was heartbroken while Daniel looked lifeless in bed. Chen Zhao stayed in the hospital and didn't leave until the next day. Chapter 39. Ethan's grandmother. America is indeed too dangerous. I'm only here to save the suffering people. It's too fucking dangerous. In less than a month, how many shootings have I witnessed? How many deaths have I seen? Just after Chan Zhao returned to the motel, he received a call from Melson. Chen, are you free? The Los Angeles Times would like to interview you and take a photo of you and your dog. Sorry, I don't want to appear on the media. I think you know that my work is special. Chan Zhao was an illegal doctor after all. If he was to appear on the papers, the police might ignore it, but not those from medical associations. I get it, but you should be careful too. Some reporters seem to have found a few clues. They might go around the police and investigate you directly. Hearing this, Chan Zhao could feel his head hurt. It was certainly bad to be noticed by the media. Even though he was not a celebrity, his story could still be a hot topic. Since the previous day, the news about the hospital shooting hadn't stopped. Chan Zhao stayed in his room for the entire day. His last few days had been very fruitful and exciting. Ethan did not accept any clients for him either, allowing him to spend the whole day in peace. Chan Zhao slept until the night. Of course, he was awakened by Ethan's knocking. Chun, are you awake? Yes, by you. Chan Zhao opened the door to let Ethan in. I heard about what happened in the hospital yesterday. Ethan looked at Beelzebub. My little hero, come here. Beelzebub gave Ethan the cold shoulder and continued sleeping. Ignored by Beelzebub, Ethan was somewhat disappointed. Your house is almost finished. Do you want to buy furniture tomorrow? I can go with you. Okay. Wait. Ethan, what do you want? Nothing. It's just friends helping each other. Helping each other. Yes, helping each other. So what do you want? I want to visit my grandmother tomorrow. I hope that you can go there with me too. After all this, Ethan was actually just asking Chan Zhao to be his free labor. Since Chan Zhao was getting along with Ethan quite well, he did not really mind helping out. Here are the burgers I've just made. They're free. For Beelzebub as well. Anything else? Fine. I'll leave first. Chan Zhao grabbed a burger and tossed it to Beelzebub. Chan Zhao sat on the chair and opened the metallic box casually. Suddenly he saw a flash and a fist-sized demonic crystal appeared in the box. Different from the demonic crystals he had seen earlier, this piece of demonic crystal looked like an accessory that was elaborately cut. It was a heart-shaped black gem. At the instant Chan Zhao lifted the demonic crystal, Beelzebub stopped eating the burger and stared firmly at the crystal. It's a perfect crystal. Raymond, who had been under the blanket, also climbed out. He would have leaped at the crystal right away if he could. How many years is this crystal worth? 100 years. Oh. Chun looked at how hardworking I was yesterday. You should reward me. I don't need much, just 10 years. That's not too much, right? I was hardworking yesterday as well. Think about those two humans, Rasfa and Steven. I was the main contributor. 1 year for each of you. Don't think about getting more. Fine. Wait, I don't want the other crystals. I want this one. Is this demonic crystal different from the others? Of course. It's just like how you human gems have different qualities. The same goes for demonic crystals. This is a perfect crystal. Its effect is better than ordinary crystals. So what's its value? At least 150 years worth of demonic crystals. Maybe even higher. Then I'll give you 2 years of demonic crystals each and not break this one. I think it's worth more in one piece. All right. I accept. The perfect crystal was indeed very beautiful, but to Chan Zhao, its practical uses were more important. If he really wanted a beautiful gem, he could have bought a man-made one. The next day, Ethan brought Chan Zhao to a shop to order furniture. Sir, what kind of furniture would you like to purchase? Here are the beds. This brand is. All these aren't big enough, Chan Zhao remarked, holding his chin. The previous day, Chan Zhao had tried the large bed in Rasfa's house. He could do whatever he wanted with Zola and it was simply amazing. Therefore, Chan Zhao had decided that he had to get a bed of the same size. The beds and mattresses here are all standard, so their sizes wouldn't differ too much. But if you want a special size, we can also custom make one for you. Chan, you're living alone. Do you really need such a big bed? Yes, absolutely, Chen Zhao answered resolutely. The saleslady happily accepted the expensive custom order. To order this bed, Chen Zhao had to pay 30% deposit immediately, which was $600. In other words, the bed and the mattress cost $2,000. Chen Zhao was seldom so extravagant, but he felt that it was worth it. Then he started buying desks, chairs, sofas, electrical appliances, and a laptop. All the items totaled to over $6,000. Chen Zhao did not even hesitate to spend $2,000 on the custom-made bed. However, for the other furniture, Chen Zhao could almost feel his heart bleed every time. The furniture was not sent to Chen Zhao's new home right away. Instead, it would be delivered 4 days later. Chen, let's go to my grandmother's house now. You're going empty-handed? Without any present? Or what should I buy? Ethan seemed to be confused. I don't bring something every time I go there. Grandmother will always welcome me in the warmest way. I don't think she needs anything. Chen Zhao kicked Ethan's butt. Can I say that you're just a bastard? This fat ass really doesn't know how to treat other people. All right, what do you think I should buy? The two turned around and went back into the supermarket. They bought a carnation bouquet and a bag of fruits, as well as an apple tablet that cost $300. Ethan was quite reluctant to spend the $300. Ethan's grandmother was 95 years old at the moment and lived in the urban areas of Los Angeles. She lived in a high-class commercial building. Chen Zhao heard that she was a college professor and advanced intellectual. Chen Zhao was certain that Ethan had had little contact with his grandmother, for otherwise he would not be such a rude man. Chapter 40, Because of the Free Drinks. Granny, we're here. Ethan opened the door and immediately hugged the old hunched woman with a cane and thick glasses. Ethan was fat and at least 3 times the size of the woman. Damn it, did you drink before coming here? Let go. The smell is getting to me. The old woman looked to Chen Zhao, standing behind Ethan. You didn't tell me that you'll bring a handsome boy here. I didn't even dress up. Ethan, you didn't tell me we're meeting such a beautiful woman either. Lad, I like you. What's your name? Just call me Chen. Do I have the honor of knowing your name? You can call me Right. Or you can call me Granny like Ethan does too. It's hard to believe that you're Ethan's grandmother. How about I just call you Right? Chen Zhao hugged the old woman, their faces pressing against each other. Ethan offered up the flowers. This is for you. Chen Zhao gave the tablet to the old woman. Thank you. It's just what I need. Lad, you really understand people. If I'm 60 years younger, no 50 years younger, I'll definitely flirt with you crazily. It's not too late yet. I paid for that, Ethan added. Granny, you should compliment me. A 50-year-old man was shameless enough to fight with Chen Zhao for compliments. Come in, come in. The home's interior design had a darker tone. All the furniture looked quite old, but they were all clean. The lighting was quite good too and wouldn't make them feel stuffy. The old woman had already prepared some fruit. Lad, are you Chinese? Yes. How did you know? I was once a professor at Nanjing University. During that time I learned Chinese. Chen is one of the most common surnames in China, but Chinese is the most complex language I've ever learned. I have a Chinese name too. Li Chuntian or Springly. It's a beautiful name. Both your birth name and your Chinese name. Ethan learned from Chen. You don't know how to say nice things. I only speak the truth. Chen, what's your job? You aren't Ethan's lackey, right? This bastard is the worst of the worst. Clearly, Wright knew some things about Ethan too, and her impression of Ethan was stuck on that. I'm a doctor. You two sit. I'll go prepare lunch for you too. Granny, remember to make meat. Don't give me too many greens. Even a 50-year-old middle-aged man would act like a kid before his grandmother. When Wright went into the kitchen, Ethan went to Chen Zhao's side. So is my granny all right? Not really. But she looks spirited. She's just pretending for us. Then what can we do? What's wrong with her? It's just some conditions common for seniors. They're unavoidable. However, I saw her skin below her collar. There seems to be some spots. What's wrong with that? Remind me when she comes out of the kitchen. Chan Zhao walked to the shelf on the side and looked around. He saw the medicine there. How is it? She might have cancer. I found some medicine used for suppressing cancer cells, but I can't be sure if it's malignant or benign. It might be in the lungs or stomach. Cancer. Ethan's expression turned serious. Even if he didn't have any medical knowledge, he still knew what cancer meant. Wright was clearly excited because Ethan and Chan Zhao were here. The sumptuous lunch was practically a feast. At a certain age, even hardened and independent women would start feeling lonely. Wright just didn't express it. She couldn't say it out loud, but she was clearly happy that the two were here. When Ethan went to the bathroom, Wright smiled and said, "Chun, did Ethan bring you here to help diagnose me?" "Wright, seeing how vibrant you are, I think Ethan did all this for nothing. But if you want coffee, you can call me. This is my number. I'll be at your beck and call." "How did you meet Ethan?" "I was a homeless stray until Ethan took me in and gave me a job. Watch him for me. He's not old now, but he still doesn't know how to take care of himself. I refuse. He even charges me $1 for a hamburger." "Fucker." Ethan had come back out. "I charge you $1, but I have to give you a can of soda. You know that a can costs more than $1. Since you're already not making money, you shouldn't take my money even more. In your dreams. Right, do you see? You think I'll take care of a bastard like this?" After lunch, the three chatted on the porch. Chan Zhao and Wright teamed up to bully Ethan. Under Chan Zhao's urging, Wright revealed many embarrassing things about Ethan, which pissed him off. It was obvious that Wright was happy though. Ethan had disappointed her before, but he was still her grandson. The two didn't get up and bid farewell until 3 p.m. Chan Zhao hugged Wright. "Wright, don't forget my number. I'd love to have a candlelit dinner with you." "Of course, handsome boy." After going downstairs, Ethan grew serious. "Have a plan. Patience. I can't just require her to get a checkup, right? She clearly doesn't want you to worry." "Then what should we do?" "Get closer to her. I'll find some time to meet her again." "Okay, God bless." Chan Zhao could only say that he would try his best. It was cancer after all. Is she still working? She's a professor at UCLA and still insists on lecturing. What department? Medical school. Fuck. You want an unlicensed doctor to treat a medical school professor? Are you sure I'm more skilled than her? But you're the only doctor I know. I suddenly feel so much pressure. Can I reject this request? Then you'll never get free hamburgers. You never gave me free ones before. You at least got free drinks. Fine, I'll try my best because of the free drinks. But Ethan, she should be clearer about her own body than anyone else. I'm afraid I can't do much. I know. Just try your best. Chapter 41, Wrong Report. Chan Zhao finally moved to his new house. Both Vincent and Ethan came to help Chan Zhao. Jerlin and Melson came as well with some presents. They were the only friends Chan Zhao had in this country. After a while, everyone except Jerlin left. They had not done it for a long time already, so they were particularly wild that night. Jerlin was even more decisive than Chan Zhao. Perhaps most women here were like that. They were not the kind of women that could not live without love. Jerlin was like this, so was Zola. "Chun, have you thought about your future?" Chan Zhao was unsure about what Jerlin was referring to. Did she want to have a long-term relationship with him? Thus, Chan Zhao did not know what to reply. Noticing Chan Zhao's hesitation, Jerlin smiled at once. "Don't worry. I don't mean that. I only feel that being an illegal doctor isn't a long-term plan. I have never thought about that. If one day I'm tired of it, perhaps I will consider switching to another career, or getting a medical license. I might become a legal doctor and open a clinic." Just then Chan Zhao's phone rang. "Hello, who is?" It was already 2 a.m. Who would be so free to disrupt the happy time between Chan Zhao and Jerlin? "Chan, it's me." "Right. Darling, do you have insomnia?" Chan Zhao realized that Wright's voice was somewhat weak. "Wright, are you sick?" "Yes, I feel very bad. I feel like I'm dying." "Are you at home?" "Yes." "I'll go there now," Chan Zhao said as he stood up. "What is it?" Jerlin asked. Can you drive me to a place? It's Ethan's grandmother. She might be in danger. Okay. Jerlin did not hesitate. You're still bringing Beelzebub and Raymond at this hour. It's my habit. I bring them whenever I treat a patient. Jerlin shook her head. She could not understand why Chun Zhao would have such a strange habit. Nevertheless, it was not a bad one, so Jerlin was only asking out of interest. Ethan, Wright seems to be in trouble. I'm on my way there now. You should come too. When they arrived at Wright's house, they discovered that the door was shut tight. Chun Zhao knocked. Right, it's Chun. Are you all right? Nobody answered. Chun Zhao knocked 2 more times, but he still did not get a reply. Ethan's grandmother might have fainted. We need to open the door by force, Chun Zhao said. Stand back. Jerlin drew her gun and pointed it at the lock directly. Bang! The lock broke and the two walked into the house. They saw at once that Wright had fainted in the living room. Chun Zhao went up immediately to check on her. Jerlin asked, how's she? Not good. Chun Zhao saw a few empty boxes scattered on the floor. Wright's cancer medicine had already been finished. Wright's vital signs were very weak at the moment. After some consideration, Chun Zhao said, Jerlin, give me a glass of water. While Jerlin was pouring the water, Chun Zhao took out the perfect crystal. Human, are you going to waste a perfect crystal on this dying human? Her life isn't worth this perfect crystal. Do you know that in hell, such a crystal can be used to trade for 1,000 human souls? Chun, you can even use it to earn money from a billionaire. It's not worth it to use the crystal on such a decaying body. It's a treasure that can make severed limbs grow back. Shut up. Chun Zhao took out a mortar and put the perfect crystal in, after which he used a pestle to crush the crystal into powder form. Just then, Jerlin came back with a glass of water. Chun Zhao took the glass and poured the perfect crystal powder in. Of course, he only poured a very small portion in and not everything. The water in the glass turned black. Chun Zhao stirred the solution and then fed Wright the black liquid. Suddenly, Ethan rushed into the house. Chun, how's my grandmother? She is in a lot of danger. We should send her to the hospital now. Ethan lifted Wright up and the three put her into the car together. Then they drove towards the hospital. Doctor. Right? Noticing the three who were carrying Wright, ran over immediately. What happened? She's sick. We received her call and sent her here. Asked the nurses on duty to send Wright into the emergency room at once. Ethan was extremely nervous and wanted to follow Wright in, but luckily he was stopped by Chun Zhao. Ethan, calm down. How do you expect me to calm down? Shut up. This is a hospital. Don't force me to punch you, Chun Zhao said softly. I'm sorry. Chun, I shouldn't have been angry. Wright's fine. Trust me. Oh, where am I? On a bed in the emergency room, Wright woke up, but the light above her was so intense that she could hardly open her eyes. Professor, it's me. Am I in the hospital? Yes, Professor. You seem to have experienced an episode. An Asian and a fat guy sent you here. Are they your friends? Yes. That fat guy is my grandson. Do they know my condition? I think so. That Asian is also a doctor, an excellent one. He should have noticed it already, but I don't know how much he knows. Dr. The test report is out. Give it to me, Wright said immediately. Professor, you're the patient now. I'm the doctor. But I'm still your professor. You have learned all your medical knowledge from me. Professor. All right, give it to me. It's not my first time to get shocked. Okay. Wright glanced at the test report. You've taken the wrong one. My fatty acid synthase can't be that low. Fatty acid synthase is an important component of cancer cells. A higher level of fatty acid synthase therefore indicates more cancer cells and a more severe condition. However, in this report, the level of fatty acid synthase was only slightly higher than an ordinary person. It looked like a patient with a benign tumor, not Wright who had late-stage cancer. Of course, Wright wished that this report was hers, but she knew that it was impossible. Molly, did you take the wrong one? Sorry, I might have mistaken it. Let me check again. Soon the nurse returned. Dr. The test room says that it's correct. That's impossible. I'll go there myself. For was quite irritated. This was clearly a mistake. What were the test room people doing? After all, this involved her own professor. She had done the last test, so she knew her professor's condition very well. To be honest, Wright would be lucky to live for even one more day. Although she hoped that Wright could recover, she knew that it was clearly impossible with the current medical knowledge. Chapter 42. Take the wrong thing. There's no mistake, the doctor in the lab said, a bit frustrated. Your professor's blood sample is still here. If you don't believe me, you can test it again. Only your professor's blood sample was extracted and tested today. There's no way I messed up the only sample and report. But this is impossible. She's in the late stage of stomach cancer. She can't have such low fatty acid synthase. For took the blood sample and tested it herself. However, the result was the same as the previous report. She returned to Wright, who asked, "Did you receive the test report?" For handed the report to her. "Professor, take a look. How is it lower than before? What's going on? For are you lying to me now?" "Professor, this is your report. This is impossible. You took the same blood sample but you got two sets of completely different numbers." "Professor, I need to do a full checkup for you, including gastroscopy, CT scan, X-ray, and it's best to collect another blood sample. Is this necessary?" "Professor, I believe it's necessary." "All right. If you must, then let's do it." The next hour was very painful for Wright, especially during the gastroscopy. Even though she was a medical professor, she still hated gastroscopy. It was inhumane torture. However, the test report came out quickly. "Professor, look at your gastroscopy." "Is this really my gastroscopy?" "Yes. The shadow is where your cancer tumor is, but compared to last time it's much smaller." "This is impossible. You were watching it personally. There's no way for me to lie." "Are the CT and X-ray scans out too?" "Dr. For, the CT scan is out." A nurse brought over the scan. After checking it, For handed it to Wright. "This really is mine?" Wright still didn't really believe it. However, when the X-ray scan was brought over, the results were still the same. "How is it that my tumor shrunk so quickly?" "Professor, are you using some specific drug? Is it C31? C31 wasn't being sold yet. It was still a specific drug that existed in research labs. Its main function was to repress fatty acid synthase. In theory, as long as fatty acid synthase was controlled, most cancerous cells could be killed within a day. However, it wasn't used in clinical treatment yet, so there was no way to get it. There's no C31 in any market, not even the black market. Where do I go to get it? If you didn't use some specific drug, then I can only say that God has blessed you. This is too strange." Wright was completely baffled. At that time, the blood sample report came out too. "Professor, the second test report is out. Your cancerous cells have been wiped out completely." "Really? You are the second miracle of our hospital. The last time there was a boy with brain cancer. We've already sent the notice to his family, but his tumor shrunk miraculously overnight. He wasn't as lucky as you though. His tumor didn't disappear completely like you. There's already a precedent." "Oh yeah. That Asian man was there too," it suddenly popped into For's mind. "I remember now. That Asian man snuck into the boys' room and I caught him. He said that he'd entered the wrong room." "Professor, did he give you some medicine?" "I don't know. I was unconscious." "Maybe you should call him over to ask." "Help me call them all over." "Oh, Granny, this is great. As long as you're okay." Ethan was hugging Wright excitedly, but the scene was difficult to watch. Ethan was too rough. It looked like a gangster bullying a senior citizen. Chun Zhao grabbed Ethan. "Ethan, Wright's going to suffocate like that. Let go of her." "Granny, how are you?" "Not bad. Thank God Chin gave me medicine in time." I didn't give you medicine. I just took you to the hospital." "Chun." Jerlin looked at Chun Zhao in surprise. "You just..." "Oh, I also gave you some water." "Chen, you're a doctor. You should know that feeding water to an unconscious patient is very dangerous." You shouldn't make mistakes like that. Wright smiled at Chen Zhao. On the side, For said, Sir, Professor Wright's cancer has been suppressed, so you don't have to worry about getting sued for using some type of medicine. Please tell us truthfully what medicine you gave her. This will help her condition too. I really don't know what you're saying. I am sure that I only gave Wright a cup of water and nothing else. I was an accident, doctor. It's probably because I'm not professional enough. Wright, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have given you water while you were unconscious. Sir, don't you know that your medicine can save millions upon millions of lives? Please use your pretty head and think a bit. If I really have some special medicine that can cure cancer, would I be kicked out of a motel because I can't pay the rent? Ethan, is that true? Wright glared at Ethan. Bastard. Chen, stop the bullshit. You moved away yourself. I didn't kick you out. I even helped you move. Ethan, don't cause a scene here. Wright, please rest up. We'll go now. Go. Professor. For no need. He doesn't want to talk. Oh. Chen, you clearly gave her some black drug. Chen, did you really save my granny? No, you remembered incorrectly, Chen Zhao insisted. He was basically speaking nonsense. Chen, I know you must have used some witchcraft, but the result is good, so I don't care no matter what trick you used. Thank you for saving my granny. Don't think crazily like that. I didn't do anything. Okay, I'm tired. Jerlin, can you drive me home? Jerlin had been a bit angry, but she still gave in. She could feel that there was a reason why Chen Zhao couldn't reveal the truth. However, she was sure that Chen Zhao had cured Wright. He didn't admit it and the whole thing sounded crazy, but it was the truth. After all, she'd seen it with her own eyes. Chapter 43. Living in a wealthy area for a few days. Chen, why are you hiding it? I know that you cured Wright. Jerlin stared at Chen Zhao, puzzled. Do you think being able to cure cancer is good or bad? Of course it's good. You can gain both reputation and wealth. At the same time, patients can stop suffering. You can save millions of people. But I can't treat everyone. It's not a normal method. I can't even teach it to someone else. Perhaps I can save 10 people or 100 people, but not 1,000 people. By then, the entire world will know that I can cure cancer. How do I live? Who do I treat? Chin, I get it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have rashly said those words just now. Do you suddenly feel that I'm so great? Your words have indeed changed my impression of you. Then let's go back and restart the activity between the two of us. Actually, Chen Zhao had been somewhat reluctant to use the perfect crystal. He had originally wanted to use the perfect crystal to exchange for the spatial ring from Raz. He was unsure if Raz was still willing to trade it now that he had crushed the crystal into powder form. By the time Chen Zhao and Jerlin returned, it was already 5 a.m. However, the two had no intention of sleeping, and they continued until it was past 7 a.m. Chen Zhao lay exhausted on the bed, while Jerlin tidied her clothes, getting ready to leave Chen Zhao's place. However, before Jerlin even left, Chen Zhao was awakened by another call. Hello. Zola. Chen, can you come over and help me to comfort Daniel? He wants to commit suicide. Chen Zhao jumped out from the bed directly. What a tiring life. Jerlin, don't leave yet. Drive me to Beverly Hills. Chen Zhao alighted from Jerlin's car feeling dazed. To make things worse, he also had a severe headache. Paul, morning. Mr. Chen, why are you here? Zola called me. She said that Daniel has lost control of his emotions. Ms. Zola doesn't live here. Her house is on the other side of Beverly Hills. Let me take you there. All right. Thank you. Paul drove Chen Zhao to Zola's house. When they reached, Zola ran out and welcomed Chen Zhao in. It was similarly a large manor with a few domestic helpers. When Chen Zhao entered the house, he noticed Manny look at him from upstairs. Clearly, she had a poor impression of Chen Zhao. How's Daniel? He has been in a very bad mood these few days. Yesterday he almost cut his own wrist. Fortunately, a maid discovered it and snatched the fruit knife from him. Zola brought Chen Zhao to Daniel's room. Chen Zhao knocked on the door. I'm going to sleep. Leave now. Chen Zhao opened the door immediately, as if he did not hear Daniel's words. Right away, Beelzebub ran forward and jumped onto Daniel's bed. When Daniel lifted his blanket and saw Beelzebub's face, his anger vanished at once. Chun, why are you here? Your mom is very worried about you, so I came here to visit you. There's nothing to be worried about. I'm already a disabled man now. Chun Zhao stared at the dispirited Daniel. He still remembered how high-spirited Daniel was when they first met. At the moment, Daniel seemed to have aged by 10 years, with his face covered in messy beard. Perhaps because he had not washed himself for a few days already. His hair was dirty and his face sallow. Chun Zhao turned his head and glanced at Zola. Zola closed the door. Zola looked at Chun Zhao. After slight hesitation, she still went to close the door. Daniel, how much money do you have? Why? I think I might be able to heal him. Stop joking. My entire leg was cut off. Do you think I'm a fool? Fine. Just pretend that I'm joking. If there's really such a chance, how much are you willing to pay? Chun, are you kidding? Chun Zhao glanced at Zola and remained silent. Chun, I know you have some special knowledge. If you can make Daniel walk again, I'll give you $1 million. No, I only want Daniel's money. Daniel, how much can you pay to let yourself stand up again? I only have over $100,000. That's all. Chun, please don't joke with me like that. Good. From now on, you owe me $200,000. Chun Zhao turned around and looked at Zola. Can you find a hidden place for me and Daniel? We might need to stay there for a few days. Chun, are you serious? No, I only want to experience what it feels like to live in Beverly Hills. I'm asking Daniel to stay with me. Zola took her phone. Father, is house 65 on the hilltop vacant? Chun and Daniel want to stay there for a few days. Okay, no problem. I don't want too many people to know about it, okay? Chun Zhao stared at Zola with a serious look. Not even my father. How many people know about Daniel's amputation? My father and a few of Daniel's schoolmates. Chun, are you really able to heal me? Chun, Daniel became excited. If you walk in front of your schoolmates one day, will there be a problem? Daniel immediately replied, no. They have only heard about it and nobody has seen me like this now. I promise you that I wouldn't tell anyone. Let's go. Send us to that villa. Alright. Is the scenery there good? Now. Of course. If you need to prepare, we can also go there a few years later. Now. Let's go there now. Zola sent Chun Zhao and Daniel to the vacant villa herself. The villa was located on the hillside, where one could see the coastline in the distance. It was surrounded by lush, magnificent vegetation and enveloped in fresh, rejuvenating air. Chun, do you need anything else? Before Daniel and I appear before all of you again, do not come and disturb us. How many days do you need? No more than a week. Chun Zhao had learned the perfect crystal's uses from Beelzebub and Raymond. The perfect crystal would not make Daniel's leg grow out immediately. Instead, the process would take a few days. Of course, outsiders were not prohibited from watching the process. It was just that Chun Zhao did not want anyone else to see it. At the same time, he wanted to keep some kind of mystery. Therefore, he had asked Zola and the others to not disturb them. He had chosen here instead of his home precisely so that he could keep this a secret. Although Chun Zhao lived alone, an entire town with many houses was right outside. He might not be able to maintain the confidentiality of the treatment. Moreover, Jerlin would also occasionally visit him, so he had decided to ask Zola for such a villa. Chapter 44, 13 and 21 years old. Chun Zhao didn't feed Daniel the medicine made from the perfect crystal directly. Instead, he had Daniel take a sleeping pill, and then poured in the medicine after he was asleep. To be honest, Chun Zhao just wanted to act mysterious. If he gave Rasfa a black drug and then gave Daniel one too, people would easily think that Chun Zhao only had one trick. Then they would get some other ideas about the black drug and might even do dangerous things. No matter how close they were, some things still had to be hidden. Plus, they weren't even that close. After the sleeping pill's effect passed, Daniel woke up and found that he was still on the balcony. He felt waves of itchiness coming from his thigh. He couldn't bear the itchiness. Daniel tore off the gauze and found that something was wriggling at the spot of amputation. Then he saw something extend out of his flesh. It was white and bloody. It was a bone. A bone was extending outward. No, it was growing. What's going on? Bearing the extreme itchiness, he watched as blood and muscle grew around the bone, covering it up. The progress was so strange that he gradually forgot about the itch. An hour later, the supernatural and incomprehensible growth finally stopped. By then, his leg's flesh and bone had reached his knee. It was like a dream. Daniel was still in a daze. Flesh growing back, this was crazy. His knee hadn't grown back yet, but Daniel completely believed Chen Zhao now. The man he really could make the left leg grow back. This sounded entirely unbelievable, but it had really happened before his eyes. Chen? Where did Chen go? Daniel looked around. He only saw Beelzebub sleeping on the ground. Chen Zhao had vanished. Beelzebub opened his eyes and looked at Daniel. Then he shook his head in a human-like way. Daniel grabbed the cane beside him and stood up with difficulty. He saw Chen Zhao sleeping on the sofa. Daniel was grateful to Chen Zhao, but the sun was setting soon. If Chen Zhao could get up and make him some food, he would be even more grateful. Chen, wake up. Chen Zhao was dead asleep, so Daniel had to poke him with the cane. Chen, time to get up. He finally opened his eyes. What time is it? Dinner? What are we eating? Daniel was so done. Chen, don't you think that you're the one who should cook dinner? I'm tired. What exactly did you do last night? I saved an old granny with cancer and then fucked a female cop till morning. I was going to rest at home, but then you asshole tried to commit suicide. Fine, it's my fault, but I'm really hungry right now. Okay. I'll go see if there's any food. Chen Zhao still got up and made dinner for him and Daniel. I cooked how I usually cook. I can't be compared to your family's chef. If you don't like it, well, I can't do anything about it. It's okay. I'm not picky. But if you can give me some beer, I'll be even more grateful. Are you even old enough? Oh, please. I can understand if you refuse to give me beer because I'm recovering. But if you're doubting my age, I can't accept it. How do I not look like an adult? Fine. You're still recovering. You can't drink. Oh. After dinner, Chen Zhao and Daniel lay on the balcony to stargaze with a bunch of snacks and soda. With Daniel's current condition, he really couldn't drink alcohol. It would be perfect if I can smoke some weed now, but I know that even if you have it, you'll say I'm injured and can't smoke. Chen Zhao made a face. He didn't feel like asking about this youth's bad habits. He could only control himself. You only need at most 7 days and then you can be free. Chen, are you a druid? Daniel felt like Chen Zhao was the legendary druid now. It was bizarre, but the most bizarre thing was that it was happening to himself. If Chen Zhao was a druid, then it was still comprehensible. If that will help you accept things, then think of me as a druid. Teach me. I want to be a druid too. You can't. You don't have the talent. Plus, I haven't gotten everything straight yet. How can I teach you? It was obviously painful for these two men to be stuck inside. The house was very fancy, but it still couldn't hide the fact that it was boring. Zula, can you get a game set here? Daniel and I are going to go crazy. Zula brought different servers over along with a big pile of games. She put them at the door and left. She was worried that it was taboo to see Daniel. Daniel, have you played with actresses before? Yeah. I was 15 and in my grandpa's manor. I thought we were dating, but then I realized that she'd slept with all the men in the manor, not just me. She was just using me. We broke up, but she got the chance to act in a movie that my grandpa's company funded. She's pretty famous in Hollywood now. You should have heard her name before. Lafa Dior. Chen Zhao thought for a moment, but he didn't know who that was. After all, he didn't care about celebrities at all. He'd only been in LA for a month too. If that woman was only a bit famous, then her name couldn't have reached the other side of the world. It was normal that he didn't know her. If you want to play with an actress, I can arrange it as long as she's not an A-lister. Don't. This feels like prostitution to me. I'm not sad enough to do that. When was your first time? I was 13. I paid $10 for a girl to give me a handjob. Chun Zhao cursed inwardly. This really was a dark society. His first wet dream had been when he was 14 years old, but this guy had lost his virginity at 13. So when was your first time? It was Daniel's time to ask. 21 years old. My college classmate. Chun Zhao was embarrassed. You never thought about spending money to get a girl? Yes. It was during sophomore year when I wasn't dating yet. I had the strongest sexual urges during that time too. My roommates and I got this idea, but we didn't have much money. We heard that it was cheap at somewhere called a salon, so we asked around and went to the street. As expected, we were stopped by a girl in heavy makeup. We asked her how much and she said 40. Then I asked if it'll only cost 40 for us three together, and she called us our *tard. Daniel burst out in laughter. Do you know where my coming-of-age ceremony was held? Chapter 45, Daniel Cured. The two chatted about their embarrassing past. Daniel and Chun Zhao had very different attitudes towards life and ways of thinking. Daniel had already played enough when he was young. His biggest hope at the moment was to find genuine love. Yes, to most people this was such a foolish thought. But Daniel really believed it. At the moment he was still single precisely because he wanted such a sacrificing love. On the other hand, Chun Zhao wanted to enjoy what he had been unable to. He had set himself completely free. Indeed, he only wanted physical satisfaction and not true love. Daniel was not actually being naive. In fact, he knew the world better than most people. Since he was young, he had been influenced by his surroundings. He had seen the material world long ago. Think about it. He had spent $10 for a female schoolmate to jerk him off when he was 13. How pure could his mind be? However, the more he was like this, the more he longed for something he could not obtain. On the other hand, Chun Zhao had used to be cynical and an idealist. He wanted to become a unique doctor, one who would save the world alone. However, it was only an ideal after all. After being raped forcefully by reality, Chun Zhao finally saw the real world clearly. Chun Zhao did not even know whether he regretted the decision at that time. In any case, it was already over. Moreover, he had heard that there was a new policy in China. When a doctor feels that a patient needs surgery for sure, even if the family members do not sign a consent form, the doctor still has the right to decide whether to perform surgery without needing to bear any responsibility. This is good news to most doctors in the emergency department. However, it was already too late for Chun Zhao. He had lost his job and lover, along with 3 years of savings. Chun Zhao was also not an emotional person. He had almost forgotten everything in his past. At the moment he had his own job and his own life. Daniel's left leg was growing at an amazing rate. After the treatment on the second day, half of his calf grew back. On the third day, the entire calf appeared, while on the fourth day, half of his feet emerged. He completely recovered on the fifth day. However, the colors of his legs were different. His right leg was bronze-colored, while his left leg was new and tender. It's over. It's finally over. God, I'm never going to carry out such a treatment on anyone in the future. Chun Zhao was even more excited than Daniel. Daniel had fully recovered, meaning that his job was also over. Chun, thank you. Remember your promise. Don't tell anyone about it. Of course. I don't want to be hated by a druid. Chun Zhao was also unsure if Daniel was only joking or really thought that he was a druid. Mom, can you come over? Soon Zola arrived. When she saw the standing Daniel, she screamed in thrill. God, is this real? Unbelievable. Am I dreaming? Zola let go of Daniel and then hugged Chun Zhao. Chun, thank you. You've given him rebirth. If you really want to thank me, send me home. I suddenly realized that my home is still more comfortable. Of course. Even if you want me to send you to the moon, I'll agree, let alone sending you home. Zola sent Daniel to his manor, after which she drove Chun Zhao home. Come in and have a seat? Chun Zhao looked at Zola. Zola smiled and accepted Chun Zhao's invitation. After closing the door, the two hugged and kissed each other impatiently. At the moment the two were really filled with intense desire. Clink. Is someone here? The two were in the midst of kissing when they suddenly heard something shatter in the living room. Woof! The two tidied their clothes. Chen Zhao walked into the living room to discover the floor filled with glass fragments. It was originally a decorative vase. Maybe it's just the wind, Chen Zhao said. Let's continue. Zola's voice was loud and sonorous as she indulged herself without constraints. Chen Zhao had abstained himself from sex for too long and really needed some. Therefore, he charged towards the peak with Zola again and again. The two only stopped after 2 hours when the sky began to turn dark. Do you want to eat together? No, I need to go back and look after Daniel. Send me to the motel. I have something there. Are you taking me as your driver? No, it's only a friend's request. All right then. Chen Zhao glanced at the room before closing the door. You're so strange. Just now you were so eager to go home, and now you want to go out again. I really doubt if you asked me to come here just for sex. Oh no, you've managed to expose my little trick. Chen Zhao stared at Zola helplessly. After sending Chen Zhao to the motel and confirming that he was fine, Zola left. God, Chen, you're still alive. When Ethan saw Chen Zhao walk in, he exclaimed loudly, Beelzebub, I miss you so much. Come and let me hug you. Roar. Beelzebub opened his mouth and showed his sharp teeth. Ethan immediately gave up the thought of going close to Beelzebub. I said that I would be busy for a few days. Did you purposely hide outside for a few days because you saved my grandmother and was worried that you'll be in trouble? If this is the case, you can stop being so anxious. I promise you that nobody will disturb you because of this. I said I was busy, not hiding from someone. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Do you remember the gang leader whom I treated last time? Yes. Why? Did that person cause any trouble for you? No. I forgot the name of that street, but I need to go there. Drive me there. I need to look after the motel. If you ask for my help again in the future, I'll definitely ignore you. Why? Isn't it just driving you there? Let's go. When they arrived at their destination, the sky had already turned dark. This particular street was usually unsafe at night, so there were almost no pedestrians around. What did you come here for? Nothing. Let's go back. Are you kidding? We drove all the way here only to take a look? Ethan roared. If you say that we came here to take a look at a woman, I can understand, but it's a rundown street without a single soul. You only took a look and now we're leaving? Bastard, I swear you're playing me. Actually, Chen Zhao was really here to find someone. He had already found the person, so now they were leaving. At the moment, the person was in the car, right beside Chen Zhao. It was just that Ethan could not see anything. Chapter 46. I just need to pee. On the way back, Ethan looked at Chen Zhao in the rearview mirror. He saw that Chen Zhao kept looking at the empty space next to him, lips moving occasionally. He seemed to be talking to some invisible person. Chen, did you smoke weed? Huh. Why would you think so? You think I'll touch that stuff? Or is it LSD? Damn it, that stuff is more toxic than weed. Please, I don't touch that stuff. I've never done drugs. But it seems like you. Don't ask. I'm very normal. Ethan suddenly realized that Chen Zhao seemed to be able to see things that he couldn't. Chen, is there anyone on this car, other than us? Beelzebub and Raymond. No, other than them. Suddenly, there was a car driving on the wrong side of the road before them. The headlights glared. Ethan's expression changed drastically, because the moment that the headlights shone over, he saw a terrifying figure in the rearview mirror. He quickly looked away, but the thing that he'd seen that instant kept flashing in his mind. Ethan, stop the car. Chen Zhao suddenly yelled. What's wrong? Stop now. Right now. Stop the car. Chen Zhao's tone was urgent. Ethan hurriedly slammed on the brakes. Then Chen Zhao called, Get out. Ethan didn't know what Chen Zhao was doing. We can't park here. Just then there was a huge explosion at the intersection up ahead. A fuel tanker and a small car collided. Firelight swallowed the two vehicles in an instant. Ethan turned deathly pale. This Chen, how did you know? I just needed to pee, so I thought to do it at the side of the street. Ethan didn't ask. He just felt that Chan Zhao must have predicted something, or he received information from someone, so he had Ethan stop the car so hurriedly. He could see the Grim Reaper. He could communicate with the Grim Reaper. Yeah, he was probably looking for the Grim Reaper when he had Ethan go to that street. He knew where the Grim Reaper was. Ethan was thinking nonsense, but his guesses were very close to the truth. Chen, is there someone beside you? Chan Zhao subconsciously glanced at Blackie. What? There's no one next to me. No, I saw it. The Grim Reaper's next to you. Chen Zhao was shocked. How did you know? It's true. Ethan was even more shocked. Chen Zhao realized that Ethan couldn't actually see and was just guessing. True? What are you talking about? Are you high? No, I'm sure. Chen, who exactly are you? I don't know what you're talking about. Get on the car and take a different route. Chen, are you sure nothing will happen now? You'll ensure my safety, right? You won't have the Grim Reaper take me away, right? If you keep blabbing, the Grim Reaper might kill you because you talk too much. Fine, fine. I'll shut up. Ethan looked at the rearview mirror again. He tried to keep it in, but he couldn't help but speak again. Chen, can you say hi to the Grim Reaper for me? I swear this is my last sentence. Watch the road. Chen Zhao facepalmed. I'm begging you. If you keep getting distracted, we'll really die. Chen, did the Grim Reaper reply. Didn't you say that that was your last sentence? This is my last sentence now. That was the second to last. If you say another word before I get home, I'll ask the Grim Reaper to make that the last sentence of your entire life. Please don't. We're brothers. Who's your bro? I don't have such an old brother. Ethan was a chatterbox. Even though he was sure one of his passengers was the Grim Reaper, he still couldn't stop talking. The biggest reason was that Chan Zhao was here. He was sure Chan Zhao wouldn't let him die. As long as Chan Zhao was here, he could toe the bottom line without worry. Chan, I want to see the Grim Reaper. Can he appear for me? I'm going to sleep. Wake me up when we're there. Grim Reaper. Have you watched the movie Final Destination? Ethan started talking to himself. I feel like it's an insult to you. You definitely don't have bad interests like that. Grim Reaper, how long do you think I can live for? Will I die from diabetes? If I can meet you, I'll definitely ask for an autograph. You might not know this because I look like a Protestant, but I actually worship the devil and the Grim Reaper. If I become your most loyal believer, will I become immortal? Or at least add a few years to my life? Chen isn't actually suitable to act as your messenger. Maybe you can consider some other people. Ethan, I didn't fall asleep. Chen Zhao glanced at him. Sorry, I just wanted to try and see if I can have the ability of controlling life and death. Ethan, you're so old already. You still watch those weird TV shows? Grim Reaper, you can see that Chen isn't a good choice. I will follow all your orders diligently. Chen Zhao really didn't want to reply to Ethan anymore. This fat middle-aged American guy was just like a teenage geek. Grim Reaper, can you say something to me? After chatting for an hour, they finally reached Chen Zhao's home. He got out of the car immediately. Ethan, drive safely. Chen, I don't like driving at night. Can I stay the night? Not tonight. How about tomorrow? Why not? Are you going to do some ritual? Ethan, do less drugs. You're delusional already. Chen, you don't have to hide it. I know that you probably can't say it out loud. Is that the Grim Reaper's rule? That you'll get punished if you say the truth? Then I won't make it hard for you. Okay. If thinking like that will make life easier for you, then just think that way. Goodbye. Chen Zhao slammed the door shut and went into his house. He went to turn on the lights but found that it wouldn't work. Did the construction company not fix the circuits? No, didn't the movies always play out like this? Haunted homes often had blackouts. Blackie, is it the evil spirit? No, it's because your fuse blew out. Blackie paced through the house. Don't go to the basement tonight. What are you going to do? Your new house is renovated. I need to renovate mine too. Chapter 47. Arrival of the Third Demon Servant. Blackie, do you know how to fix the fuse? The night was still somewhat hot and stuffy. Blackie would occasionally leave the basement, only to go back again later. Chun Zhao could not fall asleep. If he had known it earlier, he would have stayed in Ethan's motel that night. Nonetheless, Chun Zhao was quite tired from all that had happened that day. Chun Zhao did not go back to his room as it was even hotter. Instead, he lay on the sofa and fell asleep dizzily. However, in the middle of the night, he suddenly felt some coldness in the air. Woof woof! Chun Zhao heard Beelzebub's barks. Opening his eyes, he saw a snow-white fox standing on his body. The moonlight shone through the windows onto the fox, giving it a particularly eye-catching appearance, as if its body was covered by a layer of frost. What is it? A demon? Bastard human. You've summoned another demon without my permission. And it's a subordinate of the King of Frost. All these inferior Demon King subordinates which do not belong to the 7 sins are second class. You're humiliating my identity. Beelzebub barked wildly to express his frustration. Subordinate of the King of Frost, leave here and scram back to hell. This is my territory. Everything here belongs to me. Both Beelzebub's and Raymond's reactions were very intense. Anyhow, Chun Zhao realized that he had summoned another demon unintentionally. To Beelzebub and Raymond, the King of Frost must be an inferior demon king. To them, all demon classes apart from the 7 sins were inferior. Of course, they also disliked each other. They both had strong possessive desires. For example, Beelzebub had been very unhappy about Raymond's arrival in the beginning. The same thing happened for Blackie, and now the subordinate of the King of Frost. Chun Zhao was still unsure how he had managed to summon these subordinates at the moment. Beelzebub, Raymond, and this subordinate of the King of Frost. It should be related to his thoughts, but he did not know exactly what he should do. Summoning these subordinate demons was different from summoning inferior demons with demonic ritual implements. Inferior demons were like consumables. Chun Zhao would only summon them when needed, and there would be a time limit after which they would return to hell. However, when he summoned inferior demons, he would usually summon their true forms. In particular, they would possess most of their original abilities. For example, when he summoned Raz and Bloody Hunter in the past, both of them appeared in their true forms, that is, in their original appearances. On the other hand, whenever he summoned a subordinate demon, a form of contract would form between the two of them. Chun Zhao had already found out from Beelzebub that the basis of this contract was that the two parties could not harm each other. Beelzebub and Raymond both called themselves demon servants. They could not defy Chun Zhao's orders, whether it was in the human world or in hell. Secondly, they could both use Chun Zhao's token, together with a huge price, to summon him to hell. Master, can I kill them? They're so noisy. The white fox swung its 2 slender and soft tails as it stared at Beelzebub and Raymond from above with an arrogant look. Master? It calls me master. God, that feels so amazing. This was the first demon servant that Chun Zhao had summoned which called him master. Indeed, obedient demons were much better. Chun Zhao glanced at Beelzebub and Raymond. These 2 bastards still called him human all the time. The more he looked at them, the more he disliked them. Can you beat them? The more inferior a demon is, the less restriction it receives in the human world. I'm Carrie Phantom, subordinate of the King of Frost, a second-class demon king. Hence the suppression I receive from the rules in the human world is much weaker than them. Moreover, my true form is no weaker than them, so I can easily freeze them into ice pops. Chun Zhao more or less understood what Carrie had just said. Firstly, the fox Carrie was a subordinate of the King of Frost, a second-class demon king, or a small demon king. The first-class demon kings were the 7 great demon kings which precisely represented the 7 sins. The 7 great demon kings must be the most powerful ones in hell. However, their subordinates need not be stronger than subordinates of other small demon kings. Secondly, the more powerful a demon's master was, the more its power would be restricted in the human world, and vice versa. To put it simply, Carrie's true form was no weaker than Beelzebub and Raymond in hell, so her projection in the human world was stronger than them. Their original powers were similar but different ratios were carried to the human world, resulting in the difference. Just teach them a lesson. Don't kill them. As you wish. Carrie waved her two tails and the coldness in the air surged. A shroud of smoke appeared above the living room. To be precise, it was actually a layer of clouds. Then Chen Zhao saw many fist-sized hailstones raining down from the clouds. Stop quickly, stop. It's my house. But it was too late. The originally newly furnished hall was soon covered in a mess. Chen Zhao wanted to cry but had no tears. Why? Master, you should blame them. If they can stand still and let me hit them, I would not have destroyed your house. All their fault. Chen Zhao finally realized that the obedient-looking Carrie was also what she seemed to be. What a shame that I thought she's the most understanding demon among the three. It was all but an illusion. From now on, I don't allow any of you to fight in my house. If you break anything, you pay me the original price. Do you understand? You're the one who asked me to hit them, Carrie muttered. And whatever I say is the truth. No talking back. Even Lord Satan dares not say that his word is the truth. Exactly. Oh. Suddenly, Blackie's head flew out from the wall. At the instant Carrie saw Blackie, she entered the battle state. Attack! Then Chen Zhao saw countless ice bolts shoot onto the wall, which immediately collapsed. Chen Zhao slapped his forehand. Were there no demons that were normal? I only want a clever, obedient and non-violent demon. Is it that difficult? Carrie, the wall costs $2,000 and $3,000 for the furniture and floor. So you owe me $5,000 now. Cash or card? Just then, Chen Zhao heard a series of police sirens outside the house. After that, someone knocked on the door. Chen Zhao glanced at Carrie. Without my permission, don't use your ability before other humans. Do you get it? Chen Zhao opened the door and saw an unfamiliar police outside. Are you the new resident here? Yes. What is it? Your neighbor complained about loud noises in your house. The police had already seen the messy living room through the gap in the door. Can you tell me what happened? The police had already put his hand on the gun around his waist. If he noticed anything wrong, he would probably draw his gun at once. In fact, I also have no idea what happened. I was sleeping in my room and suddenly heard loud noises. Then, I discovered that my living room looks like it has almost experienced a windstorm. I suspect a thief has broken in. Chapter 48. Maybe you'll become my stepdad. I need to go in to investigate, the police officer said. Chen Zhao moved aside and allowed the officer to come in. The officer still didn't lower his guard. He walked into the living room and saw water everywhere. The wall had collapsed and the furniture was practically all damaged. There was only a glass table unharmed. It had 3 small animals on it. A white fox, a Shar-Pei dog, and a colorful poisonous snake. They seemed to be coexisting peacefully though and stared at the officer with strange eyes. There. My pets. It looks like a tornado just ripped through here, the officer said, scanning the surroundings. When I rented this place, the agent said that it's a bit paranormal, Chen Zhao said earnestly. I didn't believe it then, but now I do. The officer shivered. The living room was kind of cold. Is this 13 Banana Street, Mountain Town? 13 was obviously an unlucky number. Anything that was related to 13 made people feel uncomfortable. Chen Zhao nodded. Yes, it's 13 Banana Street, Mountain Town. I will report your situation up, and someone will come to check if it was caused by man or not. Okay, Chen Zhao said helplessly. Sir, I think it's best if you move out for now. Think about your safety. Thank you. I don't have anywhere to go though. I can't go to the police station, right? If you don't mind, I can bring you there. You won't get ghosts there at least. Oh, it's fine. It'll be daybreak in a few hours. I'll just sleep and it'll be over. All right. If you run into trouble, call the police. Good luck. The officer was responsible for surveying the small town. There wasn't actually a police station in the town. Mountain Town's public security was under the responsibility of the Greater LA Area Subbureau. The officer had heard before that there was a house in the town where many people had died in. He just didn't know which one it was. When Chen Zhao said this house had paranormal instances, he accepted it quickly. He even thought that this might be paranormal activity too. It wasn't true that Americans wouldn't believe in these things. They might even be more gullible than Chinese people. In the morning, Chen Zhao contacted the renovation company and paid $1,000 to rebuild everything. It didn't feel good to eat breakfast in the messy room at all. Just then, someone charged in. Oh my God, what happened here? World War III? It was Manny Zola's daughter. Chen Zhao put down his sandwich. Why did you come? To find you. Are we close? You might become my stepdad. I need to get to know my stepdad beforehand. Is there a problem? I think you've made a mistake, Chen Zhao said with a dark expression. I'm not your stepdad and I'm not going to be. Ooh, such a cute puppy. Her name is Carrie. She's a fox, not a dog. Carrie tried to escape from Manny's clutches, but when she wasn't using her abilities, she was Beelzebub's size. Such soft fur. Be my stepdad and give me Carrie. I refuse, and let me tell you again. I'm not your stepdad. I don't plan on being anyone's stepdad. Is my mom not good enough? No, she's great. Then why won't you be my stepdad? Your mother is your mother. She's great, but that doesn't mean we need to get married. But you guys have sex. So, what does that mean? It means that you need to take responsibility and marry my mom. Isn't that what you Asians believe in? You think that people who have sex need to get married. Of course. So if I rape you now, you'll marry me. Manny turned and ran away. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. A while later, Carrie, who'd been kidnapped by Manny, ran back. Carrie, come out. Manny's voice traveled in from the outside. Don't stay with that perv. Unlike with Daniel, Zola protected Manny more. At least, some of her thoughts were still very naive. A while later, Daniel's voice sounded outside. Manny, how come you're here? You shouldn't be here. Daniel, that asshole wants to rape me. What? What happened? He said it. He said he wants to rape me. Daniel broke through the door. Chen, get this straight. Why does Manny say that you want to rape her? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes, not wanting to reply to Daniel. If I wanted that, do you think you can still see her in one piece? You want to, but you haven't acted yet, Manny said while hiding behind Daniel. Daniel, what do you need? If there's nothing, then get out. I need to clean up. Daniel finally noticed Chen Zhao's living room. What happened here? World War III? You two really are siblings. You say the same things. Chen, how about you move to Beverly Hills? I'll borrow a house from Grandpa. We can live together. No, people will think we're gay. Even if I want to co-rent with someone, I'll find a woman and not you. We're brothers. We can get girls together, party together, go crazy together. No one will think we're gay. I don't want to. We can go have fun together, but we don't have to live together and go out together. Chen Zhao rejected him without even thinking. Daniel, how can you be brothers with someone like him? Let's go. Take me home. Manny tugged on Daniel. I'm busy today. Leave, Chen Zhao said. Fine. I'll go now, but there's a party in a few days. Will you come? What time? Saturday night. I'll see. After Daniel left, Chen Zhao finally knocked on the basement door. Blackie, how's your renovation going? The door opened and Blackie floated out. Come in. I'm mostly done. The last Soulbringer left many things behind. A lot of the collections were jumping around. It was hard for me to finally capture them all. Are you sure humans can go in? There won't be any danger, right? I'm certain. Hearing that, Chen Zhao entered the basement. The first few steps were quite normal, but the further he went, the murkier his vision became. Then there was fog everywhere, but the environment somehow became vast and open. He found himself standing in the center of a cemetery. There was a dark castle up ahead. That's my home. Ah, Blackie had suddenly spoken behind Chen Zhao, which scared him. Blackie, stop scaring people. I thought that we're familiar with each other, and you should be used to it. I'll never be used to it. My power recovered quite a lot, Beelzebub suddenly said. He started enlarging. Me too, Raymond said. He'd become a 10-meter-long cobra. Seems like this isn't the human world. I'm no longer restricted by the principles of the human world. My power has recovered 60%. Chun Zhao looked at Carrie. She was the only one who hadn't changed. Raymond and Beelzebub had been tormented by Carrie last night. Now they all looked at her with dangerous expressions. Chapter 49. Inheritance from the previous Grim Reaper. Blackie pulled Chun Zhao away. Let's stand back before we get affected by their battle. Chun Zhao glanced at the three demons and decided to keep his distance. Black clouds started gathering in the sky again, just like what had happened in the living room the previous day, only that its range was larger. Carrie's appearance did not change, but she indeed seemed to be stronger than before. The three demons started to have a messy fight. Although their powers were not too destructive, such a non-CGI battle scene was still appalling. An enormous 10-meter-long snake and a Shar-Pei which was larger than a tiger were frantically dodging the hailstones falling from the sky. Carrie did not move at all and only stood still while using her icy powers to stop Raymond and Beelzebub from coming closer. She was like a snow elf, standing proudly at her spot with ice and snow circling around her body. Why do I feel that as subordinates under the seven sins, Beelzebub and Raymond are much weaker than Carrie? At the very least, Chun Zhao thought that Carrie's icy powers looked much more gorgeous. You can't compare their powers like this. Blackie stood at the side watching the battle. They can't display their true powers here, so it appears as if Beelzebub and Raymond are not as strong as Carrie. Actually, their powers are more or less the same. Beelzebub's and Raymond's powers as subordinates may even be stronger than that of Carrie. I only believe in what I see. Chun Zhao could not understand how the powers of demons were calculated. Was the strength of a demon not decided by battles? Could their powers not be seen from the fight that was happening? Let them continue their fight. I'll bring you around in the castle. When Blackie and Chun Zhao arrived before the castle, the suspension bridge lowered slowly. After passing the bridge, they reached the gates. There were two guards standing on both sides of the gates. Chun Zhao glanced at the guards. Are these decorations? Or something else? I feel somewhat creeped out by them. These were left behind by the Crevice's original master. The previous Soulbringer lived in the late Middle Ages, I think, so most decorations here are from the Middle Ages. For example, these two are headless horsemen. Headless horsemen? Chun Zhao had of course heard about the headless horseman. It was a famous existence in Western mythology. But shouldn't the headless horseman come with a horse called Daredevil? Yes, but to put it simply, a headless horseman is just the soul of a knight whose head has been cut off. The soul is trapped in the armor and fuses with the armor. If the armor is destroyed, so will the soul. Do they have their own awareness? Nope. They're but marionettes and they do whatever I tell them to. Chun Zhao heard deep breathing sounds from the depths of the castle which did not sound like humans. What's inside? Little three, come out and meet my friend. From the shadows, a dog which was much larger than Beelzebub walked out slowly. It had 3 heads. Cerberus. Haha. Its appearance seems to be especially frightening to humans. Is it not Cerberus? Yes and no. What do you mean? The Cerberus you humans know refers to the Hell Gatekeeper in Greek mythology. It's a specific example of a hellhound. In fact, the hellhound is a creation of demons, and there are more than one. As long as you have enough raw materials, you can make as many as you want. Apart from not being able to reproduce, their habits are more or less the same as an ordinary dog. How about food? Anything smaller than itself is its food. All the 3 heads stuck their tongues out. It really did look like an ordinary dog. Little 3 is the name you gave it. Yes. Don't you think I'm gifted at giving names? Does it like this name? I think so. Good. It's just like how I call you Blackie. The fact that you can accept it is more important than anything else, including whether the name itself is good or not. Chun Zhao took out a nail-sized piece of demonic crystal. Little 3, come, it's for you. Demonic crystals were irresistible to all demons and related species, including hellhounds. The center head of Little 3 was the first to react. It stuck its tongue out and snatched the demonic crystal. The other 2 heads stared at Chun Zhao in resentment. This caused Chun Zhao to be somewhat confused. Do the 3 heads share one awareness or are they separate? 3. They share one body but have 3 minds. Oh, I see. Chen Zhao took out 2 more pieces of demonic crystals. The head at the center still wanted to snatch the crystals, but Chen Zhao pushed it away. Give them to your 2 brothers. You already had one. Since their habits were similar to a dog, Chen Zhao was not worried that it would attack him. Chen Zhao really trusted dogs at least more than he trusted humans. Oh yeah, since they have 3 minds, 1 name will not suffice. You need 2 more names. Little 1 and Little 2. What do you think? Fantastic. You're indeed gifted at giving names. So you're Little 1, Little 2 and Little 3. Blackie counted from the head on the left to the one on the right, distributing the names properly. Clearly hellhounds were cheerful creatures. They did not mind if their names were really bad. Was it from the previous owner as well? No. It's my creation. At the end of the aisle, Chen Zhao came to a sudden halt, because the ring pit before him was filled with bones. A wooden bridge lied above the pit. What's this? The bad taste of the previous owner. He has once appeared before mankind. I think he's the creator of necromancers. He injected souls into these skeletons so that they could move temporarily. Then the ignorant humans called him a necromancer. Can you soulbringers appear before humans? It depends on our powers. I can't do it, but those powerful and old soulbringers can. How old are you? Around 100 years old. How long can you soulbringers live? Around 500 years. Some can live longer, but usually not more than 1,000 years. So you're considered as young in your race, right? Blackie nodded. Oh yeah, I can bring you to the previous owner's lab. Lab? Yes. You know that we usually live alone, but we also feel lonely, so we normally have some hobbies to do when we're free, such as research or learning. Blackie brought Chen Zhao into the laboratory. In the web-filled laboratory, Chen Zhao saw many shelves full of jars. Most of the jars contained a green liquid in which weird-shaped organisms were floating. What are these? Hell organisms? Oh. Chapter 50 Demon's Art of Healing. No, they're all modified from regular organisms. They're all dead. Most are dead, but a portion hasn't died yet. Chen Zhao strolled to a shelf. Suddenly, an octopus in a jar slammed against the side of the jaw. Chen Zhao freaked out and almost twisted his ankle. He seemed to have missed his step. Looking down, he realized he'd stepped onto a switch. A door opened up on the wall. Huh. You actually found a switch here. I didn't even discover it. Should we go in and look? Chen Zhao didn't dare go in alone. Felt safer to be with Blackie. After entering through the secret door, they followed the snaking tunnel down. A few minutes later, they reached the bottom. It was a research lab with all kinds of torture devices. There were strange skeletons carved onto the tools. Blackie studied them. It looks like the former went against some taboos. What taboos? It experimented on living beings. The rule of us soulbringers is that it's forbidden to directly kill any living beings. However, it did living experiments. There was a bookshelf on the side with many books on it. Chen Zhao took one down. It was actually a medical book. The former soulbringer clearly did experiments on humans too. Chen Zhao looked through the book and was unexpectedly interested. Blackie, can I bring this book out to read? No. Many of the things here are too ancient. If you take them out, they'll corrode completely. If you want to read them, you can visit at any time. The hellhounds know you anyway. Okay. Chen Zhao realized that he wasn't the first person to use demonic crystals. This previous guy had also experimented with it. The book contained notes and research on this too. The content was great inspiration for Chen Zhao. To him, the book was like a treasure chest. However, the last thing the author wrote was that his experiments were never successful because there weren't enough demonic crystals. The book's content was neither Chinese nor Western medicine. It didn't even belong to this world. This was probably demonic medicine. It was developed by a demon, and the contents touched on some medication created with materials from hell. Some were used on humans, some on demons, and others could be used on animals too. Blackie, can you soulbringers enter hell too? We're a type of demon. Is it strange for us to go into hell? Okay, pretend I didn't ask. Chen Zhao put down the book. He wanted to take it out, but Blackie was right. If he took it out, the book would disappear instantly. The content in the book wasn't suitable to appear in the world either. Did they finish fighting? A long time ago. Who won? Carrie. She beat Beelzebub and Raymond. Yes. But you said Beelzebub and Raymond are stronger. I also said that they can't use their true strength. When Chan Zhao and Blackie walked out of the castle, Carrie was still chasing after Beelzebub and Raymond. The scene was quite odd. A white fox the size of a kitten was chasing two beasts that were 100 times her size. Of course, there was also a black cloud that kept following them. However, when Chan Zhao came over, Carrie had already given up on chasing after the two. She jumped into Chan Zhao's arms. Master, I'm powerful, right? Yes. Then how about we kill their projections? You only need me. Ha! If I kill anyone, I'll kill all of you, Chan Zhao thought. Can't you all act more like normal pets? If they were regular pets, it was okay even if they fooled around like huskies, as long as they didn't demolish his home. Thank God they were fighting in Blackie's new home. If they fought outside, Chan Zhao's new home would probably be flattened already. After leaving Blackie's new home, they appeared in the basement. Chan Zhao's phone rang. It was Ethan. Chun, where did you go? I called you but there was no signal. I thought you got buried alive by someone. Do you need anything? There's business. This client is at Angel Beach. Who is it? What's the price? $200. That's so cheap. Go take a look. Oh, you know him. I know of her, but I don't know her. A celebrity. No, regular person. Okay, I'll go look. I wonder what kind of person will make you ask so directly. Chun Zhao called Vincent next. Vincent, come to my house in 20 minutes. $100. After getting Daniel's payment, Chun Zhao's wallet became much thicker. He could pay more generously too. Vincent arrived within 20 minutes. Chun, get on. Where are we going? Angel Beach. Hurry, the patient has waited for a long time. How come you have a new pet? What's its name? Vincent saw the white fox jump in from the rearview mirror. Curious, he asked, is it a fox? Her name is Carrie. Carrie, this is Vincent. Carrie stood in the back seat, looking here and there. She looked 100 times more attractive than Beelzebub and Raymond. Everyone would genuinely like her at first glance. Chen, how do you train them? How come every pet has such unusual behaviors in your hands? Are you a druid? You're not the first person to ask me that. Angel Beach was a very popular beach. There were bikini-clad beauties everywhere. The ocean and beach were filled with people. Chun, where's your patient? If it's someone drowning, he's probably gone to see God already. Vincent sat in the car. He was enjoying the groups of sexy girls too. Chan Zhao rolled his eyes as he looked at the sea of people. If someone was drowning, it wouldn't be his job to save him either. There were lifeguards here. I'll ask Ethan. Ethan, I'm already at Angel Beach. Where's the client you said? In the lifeguard team, Ethan said. Chan Zhao brought his 3 pets off the car. Vincent stuck his head out and said, Chun, should I wait for you here? I don't know how long it'll take. If you give me $100 more, I can wait until the end of time. Fine. Here's $100. Chun Zhao walked toward the lifeguard team. A muscle man was standing at the top of a small wooden tower. He wore red swimming trunks and had binoculars hanging around his neck. There was an inflatable next to him. Hey, how can I help you? He looked down at Chan Zhao. I'm a doctor. I heard someone needs treatment here. Ethan sent you. Yes. The muscle man scanned Chan Zhao and then waved his hand. Follow me. Chapter 51. I want to raise a real dog. I'm Robio, leader of the Coastal Rescue Team. How do I address you? Chun Zhao. You can call me Chun. Can you tell me who my patient is and what illness my patient has? Robio glanced at Carrie and Beelzebub. Are they your pets? Yes. Is there a problem? No. I like people who are caring. Air. Haha. Sorry to scare you, but I already have a lover. It turned out that Robio was gay, but Chan Zhao still maintained his smile. Robio brought Chan Zhao to the HQ of the Coastal Rescue Team. There were two sexy ladies in bikinis outside who were practicing boxing. Looking at the two ladies who were covered in sweat, Chan Zhao could feel his heart pound. Chan Zhao always believed that there were two things in the world that could bring warmth, namely the sun and sexy ladies. Chan Zhao was absolutely stunned by those jumping melons. Hey, stop staring at them like this. I know they're sexy, but your look is very rude. Okay. Chan Zhao glanced at the two beauties for one last time before stepping into the HQ. The HQ of the Coastal Rescue Team looked more like a gym. I don't think I see anyone who needs treatment. Everyone present was more than just healthy. Chan Zhao could not see anyone who might have a disease. Just then a woman walked over, her body as hot as a blaze of fire. She was wearing a pair of tight-fitting sweatpants and a bikini top. The woman was so dazzling that Chan Zhao recalled Kelly and the sisters Shailene and Irwin. Robio, who's this? He's the doctor. Chan, this is Fei Lai. Hi, are you my patient? Chan Zhao did not believe that the beauty before him was ill, but he did not mind treating her, even if it was for free. Not me. Are these your pets? You seem to be paying too much attention to my pets. If you have any bans regarding this, I wouldn't be able to help you. I have the habit of bringing my pets to work. In fact, I bring them with me most of the time. No, that's not what I meant. Follow me. Chan Zhao was brought into a room which had nobody else inside. He almost thought that the woman was going to do something with him. Confused, Chan Zhao looked at Fei Lai. Is my patient not here yet? Right there. Fei Lai pointed to a corner of the room. There, an old dog was lying powerlessly in a kennel. It was an old German shepherd. The original courage and fearlessness in its eyes had already disappeared, and it could only occasionally whimper. I'm not a vet. I know. Then why did you call me here? I'm not asking you to heal him. In fact, he can't be healed. I hope that you can kill him and free him from his suffering with as little pain as possible. I'm not a vet, and also not a killer. Sorry. Chan Zhao shook his head, ready to leave. Please help him. He has saved at least 236 people in its life. He's the hero of the Coastal Rescue Team, and also our senior. Now he's suffering from cancer. We can't save him, so please help him to return to God's embrace. You can end his life yourself. We can't. None of us can do it. You can't do it, so you asked a doctor to come here and be the killer? Chan Zhao was somewhat frustrated. I don't mean that. I feel that perhaps you know how to kill him with minimal pain. I said I'm not a killer. Aren't you an illegal doctor? Chan Zhao turned his head and stared at Fei Lai. Whether I'm legal or not, I'm not going to kill a dog. Chan Zhao turned around and left. How unlucky this is. He could not dislike this group of people more. They appeared to be kind, but they only wanted another person to be the bad guy. Why would such a beautiful woman do such a disgusting thing? When Chan Zhao walked out, Robio approached him. You didn't do it, right? You should do this yourself. I'm a doctor, not a killer. Sorry. I know this must be so difficult for you. Robio did not say anything else and brought Chan Zhao out. Chan Zhao left the Coastal Rescue Team. However, the look of the dying dog was still vivid in his mind. Chun, are we leaving? Wait for a while. Take your time. Anyway, there's so many sexy women here, Vincent replied. Then continue watching them. Chan Zhao ran back to the HQ of the Coastal Rescue Team. Robio did not leave and noticed Chan Zhao's return. Chun, why are you back? You forgot something? Can you give that dog to me? Perhaps I can make it live longer. Buddy, he has cancer. Only God can cure him. I only want to try. You're going to kill it anyway. No. We have never planned to kill it. Only Fei Lai did. In fact, I've never supported this idea at all, and we're also not going to give it to anyone. It's the hero here and we'll hold the grandest funeral for it. What it needs now is not a grand funeral. Maybe I cannot cure it, but I can allow it to run again in the last part of its life, just like a normal dog. Robio fell into silence. Looking at the two pets beside Chan Zhao, he started hesitating. He could tell that Chan Zhao was also a kind man. When Chun Zhao walked out of the room just now, his face was completely dark. Clearly, he was furious about why he was called here. Having displayed such anger, Chun Zhao would surely not harm their hero. Can you come at night? Robio asked. Sure. Chun Zhao could understand Robio's intention. He was probably trying to avoid Fei Lai. Chun Zhao did not leave. He found a restaurant nearby and asked Vincent to eat together, successfully spending the entire afternoon. Chun Zhao really wanted a pet, a real pet, and not a demon or something else. Chun, what you're about to do is illegal, right? Vincent asked. Please. I'm never going to do something illegal. Someone said that he's going to give me a dog, and I don't know anything else. Even if I appear in court one day, I'm still going to say that. You claim that you don't do anything illegal. So does being an illegal doctor count? Please provide your evidence, or I'll make you sit in jail until the end of time. The antagonists in movies always say this, but in the end they always get caught. The reality is not a movie, and I'm also not an antagonist. This is not your style. You don't benefit from this at all. You took $200 from me for the rides, and also made me treat you a meal which costs $30. And my pay this time is only $200, so I did not come here for profit in the first place, Chun Zhao said. Then what is it for? Love? I only hope that the dog can have a good ending. It's worth me paying $230 for. Oh. Chapter 52. Are there really miracles in this world? As the sky darkened, the people on the beach lessened. Fei Lai works over. Robio patted Fei Lai's shoulder. Go relax. Fei Lai had heavy spirits. Others didn't know this, but when she was still a child, she'd come to this beach and had had an accident that had put her in danger. It had been Walter, the hero dog lifeguard, who'd saved her. Every year after that, Fei Lai would come visit Walter. Last year, she became Walter's companion. However, Walter had aged considerably by then. He could no longer run or swim so fast. But to Fei Lai, he was still her hero. She viewed him as her family. 2 months ago, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. For both humans and dogs, this was a fatal condition. Seeing how Walter suffered, Fei Lai felt even more pain. She tried many things, but she realized that both humans and dogs would become so weak and powerless in the face of cancer. Some people thought that euthanasia was mercy. Others thought it was cruel. Fei Lai had never thought that she would get this idea one day. However, as soon as this idea was planted, she couldn't control it anymore. She thought that death was the biggest help to Walter. She just couldn't make the final decision. She'd rather invite an outsider, a stranger, to help her. Unfortunately, that person refused her and humiliated her right there. Your sadness won't save Walter. I don't want Walter to see you like this either. I can take over now. The lifeguards had shifts too. Robio volunteered to switch today. Okay. After Fei Lai left the beach, she went straight to the hospital. 4. When was the last time you went to our house? Fei Lai hugged her little sister. Fei Lai, how come you're here? 4 was younger, but she was more mature. You seem sad. Did you get dumped? 4. Is there a cure for cancer? Fei Lai, don't tell me you have cancer. 4 instantly grew nervous. No, not me. Someone important to me got cancer. You already know the answer, 4 said helplessly. Why are you asking me? There's no cure for cancer. At least there's no effective treatment right now. The treatments are mainly for repressing the condition or cutting it out, but relapse is common for the latter. Are there really no miracles in this world? If we're talking about miracles, there really is. I witnessed it too. What miracle? My professor was in the late stages of stomach cancer. She's already 96 years old too. I was in charge of everything, from her diagnosis to re-examination and treatment. My treatment didn't seem to have any effect though. It couldn't even delay her death. But recently she recovered miraculously. Completely. Her cancer cells vanished and then I did all sorts of tests to confirm that they really were gone. Don't you think it's a miracle? How can this happen? Did she try some special medicine? I don't know. I can't be sure if she has used some type of special medicine either, but she said that she didn't. So did she or did she not? My guess is that she personally didn't and someone secretly gave it to her without her knowing. A day before she recovered, she was taken to the hospital by her grandson and his friend because of a big relapse. That day, her tumor began shrinking rapidly and vanished within 24 hours. I suspect that her grandson's friend secretly gave her some medicine. You're sure? I've seen her grandson's friend twice. The first time he snuck into the room of a child with brain cancer. I'd already notified the child's family that he might pass away, but the next day, he was miraculously able to be discharged. The tumor hadn't disappeared completely, but it had shrunk to 1/3 the size. The danger had passed. I suspect that the child had been saved because of him too. He's a doctor. Yes, a very strange man. He has great skills but no license. I wonder if he researched by himself and discovered the medicine to cure cancer. Are you being serious? These are all my guesses. Even I doubt if it's true or if it's just a coincidence. Do you know how to find that man? For shook her head. No. I tried but I just can't find him. I asked my professor for her grandson's number and tried to have him give me the man's contact information, but he refused. There's no other way to find him. Fei Lai grabbed For's hand pleadingly. For thought for a moment and a light bulb flashed. Oh, I thought of something. She immediately pulled out a pile of documents and flipped through it. I found it. This is it. Rasvaloranham Zolaloranham. It's them. These two were VIPs of the hospital, so the hospital stored their information. Isn't Rasvaloranham the chairman of PLM Film? I saw him on the entertainment section of the LA Times. This man seems to be his private doctor. You want to get information from him? That's impossible. He's a billionaire. You probably can't even get close to him, let alone get information out of him. Not him. His daughter, Miss Zola. She should be rich too, right? Are you sure you can get close to her? Of course. Her son was attacked by a shark at the beach recently and lost his left leg. I did the surgery. He's in the recovery stage now. I can use this as an excuse to visit him. When will you go? Now. Can you take me with you? Fei Lai looked at her with anticipation. Then let's go, For said. Did you drive? Yes. Where does she live? Beverly Hills. Rich as expected. Stop pulling me. I need to get her son's records organized. Go get the car from the underground parking. Chapter 53 Mystery. After Fei Lai and For reached Beverly Hills, they left the car and walked in. Zola Lorentham's house should be right in front. This place is so luxurious. The best coastline of Los Angeles, no, of the entire United States, is taken by these rich people, and the richest among them took the best part. Since they're so rich, they'll naturally try their best to enjoy the best. However, death is fair. Whether you're rich or poor, you can't escape death. For look there. Fei Lai suddenly pointed her finger in front. Why? Do you know that person? No. Look closely. Isn't that the amputated Daniel Loranham in your files? On a road filled with windmill palms, there was a young man in sweatshirt running. For immediately took out her files. Are they twins? For look at his left leg. Looks like it's from someone else. Did he find a person who's willing to denote his leg and do limb exchange? No way. It's just been 9 days since Daniel's operation. Even if he did such a surgery, and it was successful without any rejection, he would also not be able to run so soon. Moreover, I don't see any signs of stitching on his leg. It looks like his leg has developed normally. But the color of his upper thigh is clearly different from the rest of his leg. Frowning, For called, Daniel. Hearing the shout, Daniel turned his head and looked at For and Fei Lai. Then he jogged towards them. Ladies, do I know you? Daniel did not recognize For. After all, he was unconscious during the operation. After that, he was sent to his home directly. Thus, he had never seen For and did not know her identity. Daniel, weren't you amputated? How? Ha! That's just misinformation. Actually, I was only mildly injured that time, even though everyone thought it was severe. Are you a friend of Riley? Or Joseph? Daniel answered calmly. In fact, this was what he had been telling his friends over these few days. Is it? Have you not been amputated? Of course not. If I was amputated, would I be able to stand in front of you now? Daniel gave a dry laugh. Little did he know that while this would work for all his schoolmates, it was completely useless before 4. That was because 4 was the person who had cut his leg off. Daniel, I forgot to explain. I'm actually a doctor. 9 days ago, I carried out amputation for a patient who had been bitten by a shark. Sorry. I am busy. I have to leave now. Daniel turned around, ready to run away. He had just lied to someone whom he should have been afraid to meet. There was already no way he could explain himself. Daniel, I have with me your medical report. If you run away now, I'll publicize the report right away. Daniel stopped and stared at 4 and Feili with a gloomy look. What do you want? How much do you want? We don't want any money. We're not blackmailers, 4 said. Did Chun connect your leg for you? Chun? Who's Chun? I don't know him. 4 waved the medical report in her hand. Are you sure? Daniel shamelessly snatched the report from 4. I'm very sure. I don't know the Chun you're talking about. You can take all you want. I can print as many reports as I want from the hospital. Just tell me a price. How about $100,000? As long as you stop disturbing me. That's generous, but unfortunately I don't want any money. I only want Chin's number. Then just publicize the report. Nobody will believe you anyway, because the fact that I'm standing right now is enough to crush all rumors. What if I add a video of the operation? Do you still think that nobody will believe it? Daniel gritted his teeth. It doesn't matter what you have. I'm not going to admit that I have any relations with Chun. Why are you even trying to help him hide this? I will be able to find him sooner or later. I don't care if you can find him. In any case, I'm not going to tell anyone anything about him. As for whether you're going to publicize my case, to be honest, although it can indeed cause me some trouble, it'll be nothing serious. I can leave this place first and wait until everything is over. By then, nobody will remember what has happened to me. On the other hand, you'll be sued for leaking a patient's information. Then I'll make the 2 of you bankrupt because of the bad impact you've brought to your patient. Daniel was Zola's son after all, and had undergone elite education. Temporary panic did not mean that he was really at his wits' end. After he calmed down, he was no longer scared. Mr. Daniel Chun has unparalleled medical knowledge. If he can use it on more people, he can save millions. God will thank you. His medical knowledge can't even be passed around. Why not? Let me ask you. Do you believe in sorcery? No, 4 answered firmly. No matter where one is, there would always be tricksters who claim that they can heal the sick with magic or something else. Doctors are the ones who hate these tricksters the most. That included 4. She had seen many patients miss their best treatment periods because they believed in the so-called sorcery. Most of them had terrible endings. So we've got nothing to talk about. Goodbye. Are you trying to say that Chun used sorcery to connect your left leg? Your original leg is still in the hospital now. What if I say that my leg grew out right before my eyes? Do you believe it? 4 wanted to say that she did not believe it, but then she looked at the colors of Daniel's legs. One was clearly the result of long-term sunlight, while the other looked like it had never been exposed to the sun. Therefore, she swallowed what she was about to say. However, her sanity was telling her that it was only the result of something she had yet to understand, and not magic. Looking at the leaving Daniel, 4 fell silent. 4, are we still going to his house? 4 still kept quiet. After a while, she raised her head and stared at Feili. Feili, do you believe in sorcery? I don't know. Feili did not know what to do. You believed him, right? No. You've indeed believed his words. 4 knew her sister way too well. When Feili was lying, she would be too scared to stare at 4 in her eyes. 4, you saw Daniel's leg yourself. It doesn't look like the result of surgery. It's more like his leg just grew out from the wound. I'll solve this mystery, 4 said firmly. Chapter 54 Pet. Robio carried Walter while looking at Chan Zhao. I hope I can go see Walter whenever I want. If he dies, please notify me. Of course. Chen Zhao nodded. Walter, come here. Chen Zhao clapped his hands and went to hold Walter. Walter was very weak. These few months of illness had made living more painful than dying for him. However, without my permission, you can't disclose where Walter went or any information about me. Okay. Robio nodded. I'll tell For that I killed Walter. Chen Zhao carried Walter to the car. Walter lay in Chen Zhao's lap and drifted to sleep. At home, Chen Zhao mixed some perfect crystal powder and water and gave it to Walter. The effect was nice, but he needed to rest more. Woof woof woof. Only one person would appear by sticking his head out of the wall. Blackie. Walter barked crazily at him, clearly thinking Blackie was an intruder. Hey Blackie, Chen Zhao said, surprised. He can see you. Not every dog can see me, but some human pets are special, Blackie said in defense. They can see things that humans can't. He glanced at Walter. Chun, where did you get him from? I can sense the deathly aura from him. You can sense his death. Yes. It's a gravely sick dog. However, I just gave it some perfect crystal. Is it ineffective? Seems like it. It will die in 6 hours. Right now is just a reflection of its life. Chen Zhao furrowed his brows. Why is it not working? Are demonic crystals ineffective on dogs? I don't know. After all, no one has used such precious demonic crystals on a dog before. Chen Zhao's expression darkened. Are there no other solutions? You're the doctor. You know more about saving people. On the other hand, I'm a soulbringer. I know more about death than you. I need to go to your home. You're welcome any time, Blackie said. Chen Zhao brought Walter into Blackie's territory. Walter was clearly unsettled and kept looking around. Just then, a huge figure emerged from the mist. Woof woof woof. Little 1, little 2, and little 3 had appeared. Woof woof woof. Walter, calm down, Chen Zhao comforted it. They're not enemies. Walter looked suspiciously at the 3. He seemed very troubled. Little 1, little 2, and little 3 also looked at Walter suspiciously. Then Walter went forward and licked little 2's head. The hellhound lowered onto the ground and put their heads together. They felt that Walter was the same as them, just much smaller. Maybe it was a child. With their intelligence, they couldn't comprehend how they were different. By nature, they were still dogs. Walter also couldn't understand. It had seen many dogs before, and its slightly less advanced brain just assumed that these guys were also dogs. Little 1, little 2, little 3, you guys play with Walter, okay? The 3 heads licked Chen Zhao and he patted them all one by one. He had to treat them all equally. Anyone who didn't attention would throw a tantrum. Dogs were all like this. They could coexist peacefully with humans, but they had attitudes too. Oh. Chen Zhao walked into the research lab and impatiently rushed to the lower level. He had to find out why Walter couldn't absorb the demonic crystal. This process didn't take too much time. He soon found relevant content. It said, I've done many experiments on animals, humans, and demons. Many experiments use demonic crystals. These crystals have demonic in the name, but they aren't unique to hell. There are demonic crystals in the human world too. They are just much rarer. Demons have the highest absorption rate. They can absorb 90% of 1 year's worth demonic crystals and directly extend their lives. Humans are next. They can absorb around 1/4 of what a demon can. Humans can't take large amounts though. This is due to the structure of their body. They're too fragile. Animals are the worst at absorbing demonic crystals. This is because their intelligence is too low, so their souls are more fragile too. The demonic crystal doesn't only affect the physical body. It also affects the soul. The main purpose is to lengthen lives. To do so, one must strengthen one's body and soul. Demons are the strongest in these two aspects, so the demonic crystal is also the most effective for them. Humans have strong souls, but their bodies are weak, so the effect is a bit weaker. Animals have the weakest souls and their bodies aren't much stronger than humans. Here, Chen Zhao realized why Walter couldn't absorb the demonic crystal. No, it wasn't that Walter couldn't absorb it at all. The effect was just very bad. Chen Zhao continued reading what was written. I thought of a way for humans to have bodies as strong as demons or at least close. I've started modifying humans. The modified humans indeed have higher rates of absorption. However, the modified humans aren't humans anymore. Later, I started modifying animals. Different from the complicated modifications of the human body, I mostly modify an animal's soul. I demonify them. I gave a dog a hatching fruit and its soul turned into a demon's soul. I failed the first time because the dog's physical body was too weak to withstand a demon's soul. I made some changes and strengthened the body of the second experiment. I poured water from the blood sea and demonic blood into the experiment, transforming it into a hybrid demon. Both its soul and body had been changed, but its nature hadn't changed. My experiment was successful. Compared to human experiments, experimenting on animals is obviously much easier. After this, I tried many more experiments, all on animals. Some succeeded, others failed. Here Chen Zhao was a bit hesitant. Should he modify Walter? Would it still be Walter after being modified? After pondering, Chen Zhao still decided to modify Walter. After all, it would be unfortunate if his first pet died the first day it got here. Plus, Walter should get this kind of treatment. Other than being his first pet, he was qualified to be deemed a hero. Chapter 55. Converting Walter. Blackie, are you there? Blackie's head popped out from the wall. Yes. Can I summon an inferior demon here? Of course. After all, it was Blackie's territory. Although Chen Zhao was a frequent guest, he still had to respect Blackie. Chen Zhao summoned Raz, who immediately bowed at him humbly. The honored living, thank you for summoning me. Is there anything I can help you with? I need a hatching fruit and also some water from the blood sea. Huh. The honored living, are you going to convert into a demon? Or perhaps converting someone else into a demon? It's my pet, not me. Is the conversion ritual very common? In the past, such a conversion was unheard of, until 300 years ago when a method to convert into hybrid demons appeared. 300 years ago, did this particular soulbringer spread the method to hell? You also need some demon's blood, which I'm willing to donate. Oh right. I don't think you need mine, you have a better choice. A better choice? What's the benefit of using better demon's blood? A higher success rate. At the same time, there will be a small chance of an unexpected effect. What unexpected effect? Awakening of special abilities. Like the special abilities of demons. Yes. Okay, I got it. What's the prices of these two things? 10 years of demonic crystals for the hatching fruit, and 1 year for the blood sea water. Can I give you perfect crystal powder? Perfect crystal powder? When Raz saw Chen Zhao take out a bag of perfect crystal powder, his face froze at once. You ground a perfect crystal into powder. Yup. God, do you know what you've done? You're wasting a treasure. Do you know how precious perfect crystals are in hell? Only large demon lords and demon kings can enjoy those. You actually ground one into powder. It was not the first time Chen Zhao heard a demon complain about his action, but he was not too concerned. A perfect crystal that had been ground into powder form would only help him earn more demonic crystals. One must learn to give before one can gain. Can you sell me the remaining perfect crystal powder? What are you going to give me in return? The spatial ring? The honored human, that's impossible. Although a perfect crystal is still very valuable after being ground, it cannot be compared to a full crystal. But its value should still be quite high, or else you wouldn't have asked me to sell it to you. If you still have all the powder from the perfect crystal, I can of course trade it with the spatial ring, but you've already used a lot. Fine. So what are you going to give me to exchange for the perfect crystal powder? How about a stone of contamination? They have roughly the same value. Stone of contamination? What's its use? It can make a human or a demon sick, and you can control it. The stone of contamination contains all the diseases in the human world and in hell. Raz took out a green stone. I'm a doctor. I don't need this. Precisely because you're a doctor, you need it. You can make someone sick and then treat the person. That's the fastest way for you to earn money. It's too troublesome. I might as well rob someone. Do you have anything else that's useful? After thinking for a while, Rez said, spiritual vessel. Perhaps it will be useful for you. Spiritual vessel. Yes. The spiritual vessel can absorb the spiritual power of others, and then inject it into a specific target. What's the use of the so-called spiritual power? It can make a person more lively. For example, when you're tired, you can restore your energy with just a bit of spiritual power. Not useful at all. Chen Zhao twitched his mouth. How much does it cost? 1/3 of the perfect crystal powder. Too expensive. I can give you at most 1/4. Fine. Noticing Raz's quick agreement, Chen Zhao felt that the price was too high. Raz took out an hourglass and gave it to Chen Zhao. How do I use it? Put it somewhere with a lot of people. It will be filled with spiritual power automatically. Will it cause any harm to others? Nope. Actually, it's not engulfing the spiritual power of others, but rather absorbing the spiritual power that's being released by others. When you need it, just open the cover and drink some to restore your energy. Do you have any other good stuff? Raz presented a few more items to Chen Zhao, none of which he found useful. Oh yeah, do you still have substitution coins? No, I only had one that time. If you manage to get more of them, tell me. Sure. If there's nothing else, I'll return to hell first. Bye. Chen Zhao walked out again and asked Beelzebub to donate some of his blood. Walter, come here. Chen Zhao found Walter, which was playing with the hellhound. Walter stuck its tongue out and ran towards Chen Zhao. Walter, you're not going to live for much longer. Now I'm going to convert you into a demon. I hope that you can understand it, as it can allow you to live longer. If you accept, bark once, and if you don't, bark twice. Woof woof. Great. You just accepted my offer twice. Chen Zhao squatted down. Drink all of this. Tilting its head, Walter stared at Chen Zhao. He could not understand what Chen Zhao was trying to say. He could only understand some simple instructions and actions from humans. Chen Zhao did the action of drinking. Drink this. Drink. Looking at the colorful liquid in the bowl, Walter seemed to be somewhat reluctant. Even Walter probably felt that it was some kind of dark cuisine. Little 1, little 2, little 3, come and drink half of it. The 3 huge dog heads lowered and stuck their tongues out together. Immediately, the demonic medicine that Chen Zhao had spent much effort to make reduced by half. Stop. That's too much. Roar. The 3 heads all howled in delight. They liked the taste. After all, the medicine had some perfect crystal powder in it. Seeing the joy of little 1, little 2 and little 3, Walter finally lowered its head and drank the demonic medicine. The taste was somewhat weird but nice. However, after taking a few mouthfuls, Walter seemed to feel tired. It took a few shaky steps and then fell beside Chen Zhao's feet. Woof. Little 1 pushed Walter with his head, but there was no response. Chen Zhao checked Walter's condition. It was still breathing and seemed to have just fallen asleep. Nevertheless, Chen Zhao was unsure if the demonic medicine he had made was effective. Chapter 56. You're Ethan's son. Chen Zhao left Walter with the hellhounds and told them to take care of it. He went into the research lab and continued reading the demon's medical book. Suddenly, he heard the hellhounds bark and he ran out. Walter had already woken up, but he seemed to be rolling on the ground in pain. Chen Zhao didn't get close. He stood and watched Walter from afar. The medicine might have come into effect, changing Walter's body and soul. However, his outer appearance didn't change. After more than 10 minutes of pain, Walter slowly calmed down. If one only looked at his appearance, his head had gotten slightly bigger, but there weren't any other changes. After the pain subsided, he would never feel pain again. Compared to the torture of cancer, he felt very light and filled with energy now. Walter leapt onto Chen Zhao. He stumbled back and almost lost his balance. It had gotten much stronger. The demonic medicine had gone into effect. He had become a hybrid demon now. Smiling wryly, Chen Zhao patted Walter's head. He'd wanted to raise him like a regular pet, but he became a demon. Did he have no chance to have a normal pet? Little 1, little 2, little 3, Walter and I are going out. You all can play with Walter next time. The three hellhounds walked Chun Zhao and Walter to the door. They seemed very sad. Dogs needed their owner's accompaniment. If they didn't have attention in a long time, they would get depressed. The three hellhounds were all dogs that lacked love, all three of them. Blackie didn't have time to play with them, so they were excited whenever Chun Zhao visited. They didn't want to let Chun Zhao and Walter leave. Little Two tugged on the corner of Chun Zhao's shirt. It wished he wouldn't have to go and could keep playing with them. You three be good. I'm really leaving now, but I promise I'll come again tomorrow, okay? Little Two let go of Chun Zhao's shirt and whined. Walter walked over and put his head against Little Two's. Then it switched to Little One and Little Three. They seemed to be communicating. Woof! Finally, Chun Zhao and Walter reached the exit and returned to their home. Human, you messed around the entire night just to turn this regular dog into a hybrid demon? Beelzebub said with disdain. He could sense his blood running through Walter. Master, you already have me, Carrie said in a choked voice. Why do you have to lure over other demons? Chun Zhao glared at Raymond, who was about to speak. Don't talk. If you do, I'm going to make snake soup. I was going to tell you that you have 3 missed calls. Raymond shrugged its head. Okay, I wronged you. Even if this dog turns into a hybrid demon, it's still stupid, Raymond said nonchalantly. I don't know what its value is, making you put so much effort in saving her. I don't get it. As expected, you're all so petty. He is a new friend. You don't have to welcome it, but why do you have to insult him? Ding dong. The doorbell rang just then. It was the police from last time. Chun Zhao was confused. Sir, we meet again. You're still living here? Yeah, the rent's cheap. Yesterday, we received a complaint that dog barks here disturbed the neighbors. I'm sorry. I have a new family member. It might have been lost in this unfamiliar environment. It won't happen again. Okay, it's just a small thing. Keep it in mind for the future. Are there still paranormal activities here? Not yet. If it happens again, I'll let you know. You don't have to. I don't know how to take care of that. You know, the residents in town have started a bet. Betting what? How long you can stay here? Did you bet? Yeah. I bet $10 that you'll move within the month. Did anyone bet that I won't move? I want to bet for myself. Yes. If you die here, it's 3 times the bet. Chun Zhao didn't reply. Okay, I'm going on patrol. Oh right. We're acquaintances now, right? But I don't know your name yet. I'm Leonardo, not that movie star. I know that if you Asians hear my name, you'll immediately think of him. I'm Chun Zhao, but you can call me Chun. Okay, Chun. Next time I get off work, we can get a drink together. Bye. Bye. As soon as Leonardo left, Robio came. Robio, how did you find me? Chun Zhao stared at him in shock. I know Ethan. Even if you know Ethan, he won't give my address to anybody, especially a stranger. Chun Zhao furrowed his brows. He'd agreed for Robio to come see Walter, but he didn't expect the man to suddenly burst into his home. I'm his son. What? Chun Zhao was floored. Robio was Ethan's son? How come I've never heard him mention you before? That old stubborn man won't ever admit that his son's gay. Okay. You want to see Walter? Yes. I need to be sure that you're not abusing him. Walter, come. Walter ran out with an open mouth. Seeing Robio, it flew up and pounced. Robio was huge, but he almost lost his balance. Walter? Oh my God. You look great. Robio hugged Walter. He could barely recognize her. How could Walter become so energetic in one night? Chun, has Walter recovered? No. You know that cancer can't be cured. I'm only a traditional Chinese doctor. I can only make it not be tormented by sickness in its short life. Seems like I didn't make a mistake in giving Walter to you. He looks like he really did recover though. Robio knew that it wasn't possible, but seeing Walter's vigor, he was still very happy. I need to get to work. Bye. I won't come without any warning next time. I'll let you know beforehand. Goodbye. Oh, where's Walter? Robio, you're here just in time. You were working last night, right? Where's Walter? I searched the entire headquarters, but I can't find it. Looking at Phalai, who was going crazy, Robio's face twitched. Phalai, Walter won't appear again. What do you mean? I helped him pass on. What are you saying? I helped you do what you didn't dare to do, Robio said seriously. No. I don't believe you. You'd never do that. You value Walter even more than I do. It's impossible for you to do that. No. I value Walter more. But I'm also in greater pain than you. I hope that he can have a better destination instead of being tormented by endless pain. Chapter 57. What a small world. For the entire day, the atmosphere in the coastal rescue team was very tense. Although people were still doing their work, there was almost no conversation, especially for Robio and Phalai. Everyone knew what had happened. Of course, nobody knew whether what Robio had done was right or wrong. Phalai, we should talk. There's nothing to talk, you murderer. Phalai stared at Robio with great resentment. Phalai, you need to understand that the longer Walter lives for, the more he will suffer. I have already found a way to heal him. If I had just a bit more time, just a bit, I could have healed him. You're a murderer. You killed Walter. Robio did not know whether to laugh or cry. Phalai, wake up. No. I'm telling the truth. There's someone who can heal Walter. If I find the person, it will definitely work. Fine. Where's the person you're talking about? I don't know. My sister's a doctor. 2 of her patients have late-stage cancer, but now they're all discharged from the hospital. Moreover, one of them has healed completely. I heard that a mysterious person has treated them. Four and I have been trying to find that person for the whole of yesterday. So did you find him? No. For said that she only knows that person is an Asian called Chun. Robio was momentarily stunned. Are you sure? For told me that. Do you remember that the doctor yesterday was also an Asian called Chun? So what? Do you think that cold-blooded guy is the person I'm looking for? Also, even if I find him now, what can I do? Walter's already dead. It's never coming back. Robio turned around and left in silence. Was Walter cured? Did Chun heal it? Robio was somewhat suspicious about Phalai's words. What is cancer? Everyone in the world knows that it is an incurable disease. Perhaps he should confirm everything again. Robio walked to a corner and called Chun Zhao. Chun? Yes. Did you heal Walter of his disease? Robio, are you ill? That's a weird thing to say. Chun, I heard that you've cured cancer in the past. Nonsense. Who said that? Hearing Chun Zhao's denial, Robio was even more doubtful of what Phalai had said. Robio, I'm applying for leave. Phalai walked behind Robio, shocking him out of his wits. Are you still unable to get over it? No. I've promised for that we must find that person. There's about 1 million Asians in Los Angeles. How are you going to find him? One of the patients that the mysterious person has cured is For's teacher. I think she's called Wright, a college professor. Robio was puzzled once again. Right? College professor. Can't be that coincidental. Robio's great-grandmother was also a college professor called Wright. If it was really his great-grandmother, then he had really failed as a great-grandson. He did not know about it at all. Robio took out his phone. Hey, Wright. Robio. How long has it been since you last visited me? Both you and your dad don't care about me at all. I'm sorry, Wright. Self-blame could be heard in Robio's words. Right, I heard that you have cancer? Did Ethan tell you that? How are you now? I'm teaching now. Let's talk later. Wright hung up. Wright was clearly avoiding the topic. She was happy when she first received the call, but she hung up immediately when Robio asked her about her cancer. Could it be that she's really cured? Oh, for why are you here? Professor, I want to talk about that again. For you need to understand that if that person doesn't want to admit it, nobody can force him to, including you and me. At least you should give me his contact. I believe that I can convince him. For, I can't give you his number without his consent. I can help you to ask him, and I'll respect his decision. This was not the first time Wright had answered For in this way. Clearly, For was unable to accept such an outcome. Professor, you're a doctor too. Do you not want such knowledge to be spread to the entire world? For I understand you, but have you thought about this? What if his technique can't be spread? Do you know how much trouble this will cause him? I only know that if I don't try anything, it'll be really irresponsible. But now you're invading his privacy. I'm doing this for countless patients. That's not a reason. I feel that the countless patients in the world are more important. Then I think you should go and convince those pharmaceutical companies. They have the formulas and have monopolized the entire market. If they can release the formulas, more people will be saved. I still have another lesson. I need to leave now. After speaking, Wright turned around and left. For was somewhat frustrated but also helpless. For how about we let it go? No, I'm not going to give up. Do you want those whom you love die one after another? He's already dead. Oh, I'm sorry, Feilai. It's fine. Perhaps to him death is fortunate. At least he doesn't have to suffer anymore. Oh, Chun Zhao brought his entire family to Ethan's place for free food. Even Blackie was here. Chun, you have already moved out. Why are you still coming here everything for breakfast? Your breakfast is super delicious. Look at how fast Walter's eating. Walter? It's the same name as the legend of the coastal rescue team. Wait, is it the same dog? They couldn't save him, but I did. Now he's mine. Bastard. It's seducing my Sasha. Ethan suddenly roared. Walter, nice. The first time Beelzebub saw Sasha, it also wanted to mount her. The same thing was happening with Walter. Is your entire family made up of this kind of bastard? Woof woof. Beelzebub was furious. It was obviously Raymond's fault, not his. Out of a sudden, Raymond, who had been coiled up on the chair, attacked Beelzebub without any warning. The snake and the dog started grappling with each other again. Ethan was already long used to it. Chun, can you train Sasha until she's as clever as your pets? No problem. $10,000 and I promise Sasha's even smarter than you. Only a fool will spend $10,000 to make his pet smarter than himself. To Beelzebub, being plotted by Raymond that time was the most humiliating thing in his whole demon life. Ethan still envied Chun Zhao and his pets. That was also why he had adopted Sasha. However, Sasha was not nearly as clever as Beelzebub and the rest. In fact, even the new member Walter was better. To most people, raising a pet involves much emotions. Even if a person's pet is not as good as someone else's, it is still his pet after all. Regardless of what he says, he would still feel that his pet is the best. Suddenly, a spiritless Asian woman walked in and asked in a choppy tone, "May I ask if you still have a room available?" Oh. Chapter 58. Countrymate in Despair. Of course, Ethan looked at the woman. Do you have an ID card? A driver's license is okay too. I have an ID card. The Asian woman dug around in her pockets. Chun Zhao and Ethan could see that the woman's pockets were filled with scraps of change. After a while, she finally found her ID. Just as she was about to hand it to Ethan, she shrunk back. How much will it cost to stay here for a night? $10, Ethan said. Then I'll stay for 2 nights for now. The woman managed to find enough change to add up to 20 and gave it to Ethan. Qing Li? Li Qing? Chun Zhao looked at the name on the ID. Auntie, are you from China? The woman looked at him. You're Chinese too? Yeah. How long have you been out here? Since she had an ID card, she'd probably been in America for quite some time. 8 years. Oh, young man, what is your name? I'm Chun Zhao. He's my friend Ethan. Hi, Ethan greeted. Hello, hello. It was evident that even though the woman had been here for a while, she still wasn't used to the customs and ways of Americans. She probably didn't interact with people often. Auntie, are you on vacation here in LA? No, I don't have anywhere to stay, so. Did something happen to you? I immigrated with my son and daughter-in-law. Our lives were great, but a while ago they died in a car accident. Now I'm all alone. The house was foreclosed too. As she spoke, she began to wipe at her eyes. Chun, can you guys speak English? Ethan muttered. Leaving me alone like this is really impolite. Auntie, if your son and daughter-in-law died in an accident, wouldn't the insurance company pay you? The woman shook her head. They didn't buy a lot of insurance. It wasn't even enough to compensate for the damages of the other party. So her son and daughter-in-law had been at fault. Chen Zhao sympathized with the woman. But sympathizing was one thing. He wouldn't give her money for no reason. They weren't familiar with each other after all. So what do you do now? I don't have anything to do. I'm looking now. Ethan, do you need servers or custodians? Chen Zhao asked. You recommend her. If you think she's suitable, Chen Zhao said. They were countrymates after all, and this was all Chen Zhao could do. Ethan had a dozen rooms here, but he didn't have any staff or custodians. This was why Chen Zhao thought it was necessary for Ethan to hire one. Of course, whether the woman was willing to do it was another matter. Okay, but I need to observe you. What's your name? Li Qing. Qing meaning clear. Auntie Li, Chen Zhao said. If you need a job, you can stay here for now and do some chores for Ethan. Of course, if you have other plans, then just pretend I didn't say anything. Sure, I'll do it. I just need a place to stay and food to eat. The trial period is 7 days. You won't get paid for those 7 days, but I can give you free board and meals. If I'm satisfied with you after the week, I'll give you $30 per day during the off-season and $50 per day during the busy season. You only have to clean up the rooms for me at noon. After you're done, you can do whatever you want with your time. You can find another part-time too. Okay, I understand. Thank you, and you too, little brother. Chen Zhao roughly calculated the time. Li Qing was working an hourly job. With the occupancy rate of Ethan's motel, she could clean up all the rooms in around 2 hours. $30 for 2 hours was good money. Many temporary jobs wouldn't even have such a high wage. Each state in America has different minimum wages. In LA, it was $10 per hour. Lee, go rest today. You'll start working tomorrow. Thank you. After Li Qing left, Ethan said, Chen, I'm helping her because of you, but I need to check her background first. Oh. The so-called trial period was just time for Ethan to investigate her. But I'm confused why you would voluntarily help a woman. Chen Zhao looked at Li Qing, who'd walked up the stairs. If I didn't help her, she might die in your motel. When people were in despair, the first thing they would think of was death. Blackie had seen this woman's death. 2 days later, Li Qing would be at the end of her rope and she would choose to die in this motel. That was why Chen Zhao helped her. Because of this small gesture, she wouldn't die anymore. Ethan was superstitious. He also believed that Chen Zhao had supernatural abilities. Hearing Chen Zhao's words, his expression changed. Just then, Chen Zhao's phone rang. Hello? Rasfa, what do you want? The second treatment isn't this soon. No, Chen. It's not about the treatment. Remember how the party couldn't be held because of Daniel? I hope you can come this time. Ever since Daniel's legs grew back out, Rasfa's impression of Chen Zhao had changed completely. Chen Zhao was someone who could determine his life or death, and even decide how long he lived. Rasfa hoped he could maintain a close relationship with Chen Zhao, and make up for his past mistakes. Can I bring a friend with? Of course. Your friend is my friend. What time? Tonight. Then I'll see you tonight. See you tonight. Ethan, there's a party. Let's go together. I'm not going. I don't know them. It's in Beverly Hills. Maybe you can get with some actresses. Actresses? Ethan was already starting to drool. Looking at Ethan's face, Chen Zhao lost all hope on him getting an actress. Unless the actresses all went blind. Ethan, you need to rent a suit. Huh? I have to rent a suit? That's too annoying. If you want to score anything at the party tonight. Fine. Ethan's features twitched. Renting a nicer suit would cost $100 or $200 per day. It wasn't a small price. However, if he really could get with an actress, this kind of sacrifice was worth it. Lee, watch this place for tonight. I'll give you $50. Boss. I'm afraid I can't do it well. It's okay. If they give you money, you give them a room. It's simple. I don't know English. It's okay. They don't need an ID either. They just need to pay. Then okay. I'll call you if there's anything I don't understand. Oh. Chapter 59, Hooking Up. Ethan tidied himself up, covering his unkempt appearance, which was a rare sight. Then Chan Zhao and Ethan went to a clothing store together. However, when the two entered the store, the clerk still looked at the two with some disgust. Of course, it was mainly targeted at Ethan. Miss, can you help my friend to pick a formal wear? He has a party tonight. Sure. Please come here. Do you need anything? No. Chun, do you not need one? Aren't you going to? We're different. How? I'm more handsome than you. Oh. Under the guidance of the clerk, Ethan started trying various suits. On the other hand, Chan Zhao was somewhat bored. He sat in the shop and looked around casually. Finally, Chan Zhao's eyes locked onto a young and charming female clerk. She was slim and was wearing a loose casual wear and shorts. Chan Zhao had to admit that ladies working in clothing stores really knew how to match their clothes. Miss, may I know your name? The female clerk smiled politely. No. Although America was an open-minded society, not everyone was open-minded. At the very least, this beautiful female clerk did not answer Chan Zhao's question. She was clearly different from the women that Chan Zhao had already known. Then can you get a coffee with me if I manage to guess your name? Try it. The female clerk clearly did not believe that Chan Zhao could guess her name. Are you Chris Ackerman? How do you know? It's on the tag on your chest. Do you often use this method to deceive other girls? No. I've just learned it from the internet. Seems useful. Not useful at all. Are you going back on your word? You didn't guess it, Chris said, smiling. Do you know where I'm from? Asia. Where in Asia? I don't know. Japan? China? Or Korea? China. Do you know that Chinese people have a very special ability? What? Precognition. I don't believe in prophecy. No. It's precognition, not prophecy. Is there a difference? For example, you can write a word or phrase on your palm. I will know what you've written without looking. I still don't believe it. What if I guess it correctly? Will you drink coffee with me? After thinking, Chris nodded, all right. Then let's start. Turn around and don't peep. After Chan Zhao turned around, Chris took her pen and started writing. Done. You can guess it now. I'm Chan Zhao. You can call me Chan, Chan Zhao said with a faint smile on his face. Didn't I? Chris was first stunned, and then she looked at the words on her hand. What's your name? Chan Zhao actually answered her question directly. She could not understand how he had managed to do it. How did you know? I said that I know precognition. I don't believe it. Let's try again. Okay. Chris wrote something else, after which she said, done. Guess it. I'm single now. Can you really precognize things? Haha. Tell me, do you really have precognition ability? There's a saying in China. It exists if you believe it, and doesn't if you don't. It's just like religion. If you believe in God, then he's really there, but if you don't, then he's not there. I'm not discussing philosophy with you. One of my electives in college included philosophy. I need a precise answer. In the world of magic, you can't tell the secrets of your magic to others. So are you a magician? No, I'm a doctor. This is my name card. You can call me when you need something. Most of the time I'll be free. You haven't answered my question. Girl, don't be deceived by him. He's a spiritualist. Perhaps there's a soul beside you monitoring you for him. Ethan had already walked out with a suit. Chan Zhao's face darkened. That's ugly. Even the most expensive clothes cannot cover your dirty temperament, but I think we're done here. After all, that beautiful clerk must be tired of wasting any more time on you. The female clerk who had been with Ethan was indeed starting to feel impatient and awkward. It was really too painful to choose formal wear for Ethan. Even the best jacket looked ordinary on Ethan. Chan, I feel that you've brought me here to humiliate me. Ethan was enraged. Actually, it's not that bad either. Don't you think so too, ladies? Chan Zhao had to comfort Ethan. The female clerk beside Ethan gave an awkward smile. Yes, it's not bad. See, you do look quite handsome. During the party tonight, the ladies will definitely be charmed by you. Really? Yes, of course. Fine. I take your word for now. Is it really good to lie to your friend like this? I'm giving him confidence. If he doesn't even have confidence in himself, he'll certainly not get anything during the party tonight. But even if he is confident, are you sure that he can successfully hook up any woman? Chris asked, looking at Chun Zhao. Perhaps his success rate will increase from 0% to 1%. If you're not the best friends, then you must be the greatest enemies. Chris, look at how in sync we are. Can you give me your number? Maybe we can get a coffee together. Sorry, I already have a boyfriend and we're engaged. My boyfriend doesn't like me going out with other men. Chun Zhao was very disappointed. Indeed, all good women had been deceived by awful men. Chun Zhao could only shrug his shoulders helplessly. Of course, unmarried women were his target. However, it was too immoral to steal another person's girlfriend, not to mention that it would usually fail despite putting in much effort. The clerk beside Ethan walked up and asked, "Handsome, I'm free. Do you want my number?" Of course. It's my pleasure. Chun Zhao did not reject any offer. After all, this clerk was not too bad either. After leaving the store, Ethan started complaining all the way. Chun Zhao did not spend a single penny and managed to hook up with a beautiful clerk. On the other hand, Ethan spent $200 to rent the suit, and yet the female clerk only looked at him in disgust. Chun, I want the clerk's number. If you want her number, ask yourself. Don't ask me, Chun Zhao rejected without mercy. If you don't even have the courage to open your mouth, even if I give you her number, you wouldn't have the courage to call her. Chun, you have so many pets with you and also your toolbox. Are you sure you're going for a party? Leave them at home and they'll demolish my newly furnished house. As for the toolbox, it's an occupational habit. Chapter 60. Absurd Party 1. When Chun Zhao brought Ethan into Rasva's manor, it was like bringing a country bumpkin into the city. Chun Zhao got second-hand embarrassment, even though he'd had a similar expression the first time he came to. However, he felt like he'd seen the world. How come he was with someone like Ethan now? Ethan, don't be so embarrassing. How am I embarrassing? What I'm expressing now is the curiosity that everyone has. If a professor said that, I wouldn't find it weird. But coming from you, it just feels wrong. By now, Daniel had come over. He'd heard earlier that his grandpa was going to hold a party and that Chun Zhao would attend, so he came over early. Chun, you're here. Daniel, your color looks good. This is my friend Ethan. Hello. Daniel also put on an enthusiastic expression. However, being a rich family's son, this kind of smile was just out of politeness. They wouldn't reveal their inner feelings to anyone. There was just some distance in their eyes. However, Daniel didn't show any distance on the surface. Let's go. We'll have fun on the beach first. It's still early. As he spoke, Daniel patted Ethan's shoulder. Do you dare go into the sea? No. He had to admit that what had happened had heavily traumatized him. He knew that there was very little chance of it happening again, but he was just scared. He didn't dare to go into the water. On the beach, there were many young girls playing beach volleyball. Walter was the most excited about coming back to the beach. He ran into the crowd and helped the people fetch the ball. Chun, you got another pet? What's it called? Walter. Sell one to me. I'll give you any price. If you can win over any of them, I'll give it to you for free. Whatever. I'm not a druid. Daniel, are there any rules here? Ethan's eyes were dazed. Seeing all these hot bikini-clad girls on the beach, his heart was burning. Daniel laughed. As long as it's voluntary, you can do whatever you want. Ethan was overjoyed. Carrie, come to Uncle. Carrie turned her head arrogantly, making Ethan feel awkward. Is it looking down on me? It must be. Carrie, help Ethan. You've eaten his hamburgers before. Smiling, Chun Zhao handed Carrie to Ethan. Ethan happily carried Carrie and ran into the crowd. Carrie was filled with cuteness. She would become the center of women's attention no matter where she went. No one would reject such an adorable little thing, and Ethan actually did look like a successful man right now. As expected, he attracted a crowd of people as soon as he went over. Beautiful young girls gathered around him. "Hi, can I hug the little thing in your arms?" Ethan looked at all the boobs before his eyes and subtly wiped his mouth. "Of course. No problem." "Wow, its fur is so soft. What kind of dog is it?" "No, it's not a dog. It's a rare white fox. Her name is Carrie. She's a girl." Carrie had a bad temper, but she was obedient. She listened to Chun Zhao. "Oh, what does your friend do? What do you think he does? A loser. Is it obvious?" Chun Zhao looked over at Ethan. "He can probably fool those little girls if he can make up an alias. Aren't they your friends?" "No, my grandpa invited them," Daniel said nonchalantly. "They're all models from a modeling company or actresses with no good opportunities. They're here for opportunities, not for the party itself." "What opportunities? To flirt with young rich guys like you?" "They're not interested in me. Maybe a few like my money, but they're probably more interested in those producers and directors or investors." Just then, Rasva and Steven walked over and sat right down in the sand. "Chun, when did you get here? I can't believe you came to look at girls instead of visiting us two in the mansion." "You two old guys are nothing compared to girls," Chun said with disgust. "Grandpa, Uncle Steven, Chun, I have some other friends coming. I'll come back later." Daniel clearly didn't want to be with his grandpa and Steven, so he found an excuse to leave first. "Steven, you look like you're going a bit overboard these days. It's because your treatment is so effective." Steven had really recovered his energy. The more one missed his past, the wilder one would go. Steven was like that. Plus, as a major director, he could have any girl he wanted. "My treatment will only recover your functions in that aspect. It won't make your stamina go back to when you were young. Don't go too crazy if you don't want to die too soon. I do want to watch some of your movies." Fine, I understand." Steven felt awkward too. "Chun, should I get some girls for you later?" Rasva asked a bit fawningly. "I promise they'll be the most beautiful ones." "Rasva, you're just a dick," Steven said with derision. "But I think your thoughts are unneeded. Look at those girls. They can't look away after seeing us sit with Chun." However, the girls knew their places. At least they wouldn't come over now. "Chun, when is my next treatment?" "Last time Rasva said you're filming a movie now. You probably don't have time, right?" "Is it different from the last time?" "About the same, but it'll take 2 hours. Do you have the time? Can you come on set? It's in LA too." "Sure. Contact me in a few days." "Is that fat guy your friend?" "Yeah, my first friend after coming to America." "Should I arrange something for him?" Chun Zhao thought for a moment and then nodded. "If that's okay." Ethan had no luck with girls. Maybe he checked all the boxes for repelling the opposite sex. If he kept using his current way of flirting, it would be impossible. However, this was no different from prostitution. No, there was definitely a difference. The girls here were classier. Steven stood up and walked into the group of girls. Seeing him come, all their eyes practically gleamed. He was one of the 3 top Hollywood directors. All of his movies had guaranteed box offices. No one who wanted to make a name for themselves in Hollywood could look over him. "Girls, are you having fun chatting with my friend?" Steven patted Ethan's shoulder as if they were old friends. Chapter 61, Absurd Party 2. After sunset, guests arrived one after another. The party also started officially. Nevertheless, even in the party itself, there were many small gangs. Those who knew each other grouped up. Many ladies were also playing near the swimming pool. In the American society, party has always been an essential social occasion. It is just like how Chinese people like to talk about business over a meal. Chun Zhao had no idea where Ethan had gone to. He stared at Zola, who also looked back at him. Today, Zola was dressed up carefully. Her entire body was emitting a noble and elegant temperament. "Chun. Zola. I thought that you wouldn't come today. I was busy in the company, so I'm late. How about a drink together?" Zola gave Chun Zhao a glass of wine, after which she gently tapped Chun Zhao's glass with her own. Chun Zhao felt that she had been spending the time on makeup instead. It's too noisy here. Let's go somewhere quiet. Warmth after the battle. After a while, Zola sat on the bed and lighted herself a stick of cigarette. Do you want one? Nope. My addiction isn't strong. Chun Zhao also smoked but only rarely. Chun, you have a girlfriend? No. Do you need me to introduce one to you? Don't worry. It'll be a good girl. Nope. A woman who was having such a relationship with Chun Zhao wanted to introduce a girlfriend to him. Which man in the world would be able to happily accept this? Only fools would accept such a suggestion. At least Chun Zhao was not stupid enough to believe that Zola was really going to introduce a good girlfriend to him. You're too alert. I really don't need one. Perhaps I will in the future, but now I'm not ready for a stable relationship yet. I'm just worried that you've got nowhere to spend your energy. I still have you. Chun Zhao pulled Zola's arm. Do you still want it? I feel that I didn't perform well just now, so I'm going to make up for it. It was another tiring and satisfying round. Only then Zola put her clothes back on. Do you want to meet my friends? Perhaps they will become your clients next time. No. I need some rest. All right. If you need me later, I'll be in the lobby. Soon after Zola had left, Chun Zhao started putting on his clothes, when a lady suddenly rushed into the room in a hurry. Chun Zhao was familiar with the lady, or rather the lady's body. It was Yafen, the small actress. Chun, I didn't expect to see you here. Yafen, are you also here for the party? Yafen was not really bothered by Chun Zhao's nakedness. It was not the first time she saw it anyway. Yafen glanced at the room. Wait, I'll talk with you later. Then she charged into the restroom. After a minute, Yafen walked out with a relaxed expression. Chun, why did you put your clothes back on? Here, if you need it, I can remove them again. Yafen locked the door from inside. Then lose them. Before Chun Zhao could say anything, Yafen already leapt towards him. Chun, why are you here? Yafen's skin had an abnormal redness. Have you been injecting cholesterol recently? It's bad for you. Too much cholesterol will destroy your bodily functions. I no longer need it. Did you pass the audition? No, I failed. I lost to a bitch. In fact, Yafen was not mad about her competitor sleeping with the director, but the fact that she was slower. Why did you come to this party? To find new opportunities. You know that I'm only a small actress. I need more roles that people can remember. Have you found it? No. I'm not the only woman here. The owner has invited many women. I'm not the prettiest of them, and every valuable target already has many. Yafen lied before Chun Zhao. How about you? Why are you here? The owner is my client. So he's Rasva's personal doctor. Yafen was somewhat disappointed. She had originally thought that Chun Zhao and Rasva had some secret relationships. In that case, she would be happy to donate her body. Unfortunately, a mere personal doctor was clearly not useful to her. Yafen had no intention to stay for any longer. After finishing with Chun Zhao, she left the room in a hurry. To be honest, she was just like a high-class social butterfly. Before she successfully becomes famous, she could only obtain various roles through such methods. She did have an agency to help her, but the agency would only arrange insignificant roles for her. Yafen was a clear-headed woman. She knew that it was time for her to work hard. She was not like most new actresses who stepped into Hollywood uncertain of the situation. She knew how difficult her journey was and also what she had to pay. Those glamorous Hollywood stars might have even more cruel and embarrassing past than Yafen before they became popular. Chun Zhao left the room only to hear Yafen arguing with someone else. Turning around the corner, he saw Yafen stopped by a man who was in his 30s. Chun Zhao walked up directly. Yafen, do you need help? The man raised his head and looked at Chun Zhao. Mister, you have no business here. Please leave. Yafen frowned. Chun, go first. I'm fine. Chun Zhao did not leave and still stood there. Are you sure? Yafen seemed to be in a difficult position. The man said, Can you not understand English? Scram. However, Chun Zhao simply ignored the man and only stared at Yafen. Yafin, tell me if you're in trouble. The man's hands were suspiciously hidden behind Yafin. Chen Zhao could tell what he was doing without looking. Yafin hesitated for a while. Finally, she plucked up the courage to escape from the man's hands. Chen, let's go. Yafin, if you dare to leave now, I can guarantee that you're never going to receive another role, the man threatened, his face darkening. Chapter 62. Absurd Party 3. Yafin stopped. She was frozen in her spot. Clearly, she couldn't ignore this man's threat. Bob, are you threatening my friends? Just then a baritone voice sounded. Stephen appeared behind the man called Bob. Bob's expression went stiff and then shrunk back. Mr. Stephen, I'm sorry. I didn't know they're your friends. With that, Bob turned and slipped away in disgrace. Chun, who is this beautiful lady beside you? Stephen walked over with a smile as if nothing had happened. Hello, Mr. Stephen. I'm Yafin. Yafin immediately had a fangirl's expression. She looked at Stephen with admiration. As expected of an actress, Yafin's expression was just right. She was excited and her eyes were reverent but not overly so. Hello. Are you an actress? Yes. I'm from Anthony Management. Oh, I'm filming a movie recently. There's a third female lead. Miss Yafin, you can audition for it if you're willing. Really? Thank you. In Hollywood, most actors knew what company was filming what. Especially for a big director like Steven, one could say that everyone knew that he was filming a super great movie. Every speaking role was fought over by every management company. The biggest role Yafin had played before was in a TV show. She played a character that only lived for half an episode. She'd never even dreamed that she could receive Steven's invitation to play the third female lead in a Class A movie. It was only an audition, but since Steven had said it, this role would be hers if she performed well. Miss Yafin, would you mind if I speak to Chan? Of course, Yafin knew when to leave. It was obvious that Steven had a close relationship with Chan Zhao. Yafin knew that she was probably invited to the audition because of Chan Zhao too. She voluntarily bid farewell to Steven. Of course, she didn't forget Chan Zhao either. Chun, how's your relationship with that woman? Not bad, but not as close as you think. If you change the requirements for the role because of me to give it to her, it's unnecessary. Of course, if that role suits her, I'll thank you for her. It's not actually that important, around 10 minutes or so of screen time. After editing, it probably won't even be 10 minutes. It won't affect the core of the movie at all. Oh right. What's with that Bob? He's a well-known pervert producer in the circle. The girls that he plays with all have irreversible scars and psychological trauma, so not every woman is willing to have sex with him. This explained it. Bob seemed to be pretty influential. Logically, Yafin shouldn't have rejected him. However, she still did because Bob was a pervert. He won't threaten Yafin's future, right? He's a smart man. That's good. Chun, how did you connect Daniel's leg back? Chun, don't hide it from me. I know about Daniel's injury that day. I know that his leg was amputated too. Alright, it was me. You don't have that kind of needs, right? I don't know, but that doesn't mean I or people around me won't in the future. I hope that if I ask you for help one day, you'll remember that we're friends and help me. America valued relationships even more than in China. Take Hollywood as an example. Many profitable projects took investments from familiar people or companies. Outsider money was rarely able to enter Hollywood, no matter the sum. I can only that I'll try my best. I'm not all powerful. At least, I can't bring the dead back to life. Of course. I understand. Just then, Paul walked over from the back. Mr. Chan, Mr. Stephen, Rasfa invites you two to the secret room. There was a secret room. Mr. Rasfa is inside. Please enter. It was the rear room on the third floor. When Chen Zhao pushed the door open, he saw naked girls under the dim light. Rasfa was lying in the arms of two girls. There was another one under him. Chun, Stephen, come on. A few girls were already approaching them to take off their clothes. This was too lowly, but Chen Zhao couldn't ignore the temptation. He looked at the two old guys and then at himself. Yes, he definitely had more baggage. The secret room was fully equipped. There was a 3x3 swimming pool filled with red wine. Che Zhao leaned against the side of the pool and girls served him voluntarily. I really don't know what you're saying. I am sure that I only gave Right a cup of water and nothing else. I was an accident, doctor. It's probably because I'm not professional enough. Right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have given you water while you were unconscious. Sir, don't you know that your medicine can save millions upon millions of lives? Please use your pretty head and think a bit. If I really have some special medicine that can cure cancer, would I be kicked out of a motel because I can't pay the rent? Ethan, is that true? Wright glared at Ethan. Bastard. Chun, stop the bullshit. You moved away yourself. I didn't kick you out. I even helped you move. Ethan, don't cause a scene here. Wright, please rest up. We'll go now. Go. Professor. For no need. He doesn't want to talk. Oh. Chun, you clearly gave her some black drug. Chun, did you really save my granny? No, you remembered incorrectly, Chun Zhao insisted. He was basically speaking nonsense. Chen, I know you must have used some witchcraft, but the result is good, so I don't care no matter what trick you used. Thank you for saving my granny. Don't think crazily like that. I didn't do anything. Okay, I'm tired. Jerlin, can you drive me home? Jerlin had been a bit angry, but she still gave in. She could feel that there was a reason why Chan Zhao couldn't reveal the truth. However, she was sure that Chan Zhao had cured Right. He didn't admit it and the whole thing sounded crazy, but it was the truth. After all, she'd seen it with her own eyes.